the loan players who've been here since Christmas, because they've been important to us. Aaron James and Chris Atkinson, who haven't figured as much as the others. Their attitude's been fantastic.
I like this music here.
The training ground every single day. John Stead and Adam Drury.
No, you do go to some guys at this level. It's all modern.
I can see why they've done well in their careers, because their professionalism has been excellent and their character has been very important to us. Adam Reach, obviously, we mentioned, has done great. You know, Carl Bennett.
They also have the quarterback stereophonics, which is a belting
best games have often been on our travels, and Matty Dolan has come in and when asked has not let us down and made 3 goals, assisted 3 goals as well. So
minute left now, guys.
Those players come in, showing what attitude and character to supplement our existing players, and I'd like to thank them for their efforts.
It means it works, hopefully. If
we feel anyone's good enough yet. No, there's not too many of those in terms of the second years without contract. Jake, that when he already got his contract.
That the YouTube feed is now running.
Liverpool, he's already got a contract. So I think there's only 3 players yet whose contracts are up.
Tell JP about if
we'll be speaking to them next week.
Still streams on YouTube.
Yeah. How do you think it's compared to what you remember and how you thought?
I've said many times throughout the season, and stand by this, that
20 seconds
the quality level in this division has been strong this season, and it's extended all the way down the division, really. I think probably the quality
10, 9,
the division,
8,
the English
7,
is getting stronger.
6,
so with that in mind,
5,
we've got to make sure
4,
we are
3,
it's again
2,
when we kick off.
1.
Phil Parkinson there
August
chatting to Pete Chapman after ahead of Bradford City's game against Tranmere Rovers this afternoon. It's been a tough old season for City after a bright start. Marked contrast to last year, wasn't it? Then, of course, it was the season of miracles, really, wasn't it, with the Capital One Cup final, wonderful promotion final at Wembley. So 2 visits to Wembley, in marked contrast to this season. But good for them to have found their feet in the end in League One.
Yeah, exactly. You know, whilst they had an outstanding start to the season, in and around the playoff places, you know, I don't think anybody realistically saw them, you know, keeping that going over the course of the season. You know, at the end of the day, as a new promoted side, you know, in a higher division, your basic game is just to stay up. And Bradford have done better than that. They've got a decent mid-table place secure. You know, they flirted with the playoff places earlier in the season. You know, they can be pleased with the season's work, can't they? And they'll look to improve, of course, for next year.
Well, it's an opportune moment now. We're going to give you the team news shortly, but just to say, we are now broadcasting on Guiseley AFC radio, so tune into our YouTube channel if you are wanting to listen to us there, or welcome rather if you are tuning into our YouTube channel, and we hope you enjoy the coverage this afternoon and enjoy the result, because that's the main thing for us this afternoon. Don't forget, you can tweet us. You can tweet us at BCB Radio if you're following us via BCB Radio. Tweet us at BCB Radio. Follow us at www.facebook.com/BCB Radio. If you want to follow us via Guiseley Radio, we love your feedback here on Guiseley AFC Radio. That has been the key thing all this season, is getting the comments that some of them have actually been clean enough to say out on air.
Really? Surprising.
And so you can tweet us at Guiseley Radio. It's just at Guiseley Radio on the Twitter feed for us. So at BCB Radio or at Guiseley Radio, and we will try and see what we've got in terms of feedback that we can talk out on air, and it'd be great if you can do so. Let's go straight to the team news that has arrived with us now, and first of all we'll just go through the North Ferriby side. There's been 1 or 2 changes to this Ferriby side from the one that turned up on Wednesday night, and that might just be something for the Lions to watch out for. In goal, Adam Nicklin once again, Paul Robson, Nathan Peat makes a start instead of Josh Wilde, Jonathan Delaria, Mark Gray, Matt Wilson, Danny Clark, Russell Fry, Anthony Wilson in the starting lineup again, Nathan Jarman and Danny Emerton. On the bench, Josh Wilde, Anthony Pecora, Ryan Kendall, who drops to the bench, Greg Anderson and Dean Lyles. And in that lineup, of course, Delaria and Anthony Wilson and Nathan Peat are making their way into the side.
Yeah, absolutely. We know what a key player Anthony Wilson has been for them over the course of the season. He's banged in plenty of goals for North Ferriby. You know, we looked at the team sheet on Wednesday and thought,
we've got West Ham versus Spurs full time as well from Guy Swindles.
Anthony Wilson was only on the bench. You know, he came on, he looked all right, didn't look fully fit. clearly fit enough to start today. Going to have to watch out for him, though, because he has been in superb.
West Ham versus Tottenham, full-time report from Guy Swindle's ready as well.
Of course, you know, they're going to have to come out, really, aren't they? Ferriby aren't in a position to be able to sit back and let guys jump them. They've got to come out. We need to be aware of Wilson and Jarman, two good strikers for this level of football.
And just quickly go down this Guiseley team sheet. We'll be talking about this no doubt in much more detail, but there's no return for Stephen Drench. He is on the bench this afternoon, but means that Steve Dickinson will start once again. Andy Holds, other than that, unchanged. Andy Holds with Ben Parker, Danny Hall, Danny Ellis, Jake Lawler, Wayne Brooksby, Danny Boschel, Adam Boys, Ollie Johnson and Gavin Rothery. Danny Ellis having to go through a late fitness test, hobbling heavily after the game on Wednesday night with a challenge which looked to have given him a bad knock on the right ankle. On the bench, Rhys Maynell, Stephen Drench, Alex Johnson, who has passed a fitness test, perhaps only lacking match sharpness though. I expect we'll see him at some point this afternoon. Michael Potts and Kevin Holsgrove. We've got, before we go to look at that, Chris, we've got a full-time report. There's been a big game in the Premiership involving a London derby between West Ham and Tottenham, and now let's have a full-time report with Guy Swindles.
West Ham 2, Spurs 0, third victory of the season for the Hams over Spurs and the most comfortable.
20 gone, 20 to leave.
In the ascendancy, when the ball was red carded in the 25th minute. They scored twice before the break. A Kane own goal, Stuart Downing Spurs goal for the club from a free kick.
10,
but the victory,
9,
indeed, if not
8,
for Reece with
7,
the keeping masterclass,
6,
would have been
5,
for Tottenham.
4,
No booze for
3,
Allardyce today.
2,
West Ham 2,
1,
Spurs 0.
no.
Guy Swindles there giving us a full-time result here, there from West Ham, and a fine 2-0 victory for them against Tottenham Hotspur. Spurs' season just beginning to peter out somewhat now, and certainly hopes of Europe seem a distant memory for Tim Sherwood's side. But let's just return to that starting lineup for the Lions. Anything that of note there for you, Chris?
I think it's important that Danny Ellis has passed that fitness test. I do apologise. He has passed that fitness test. Also, Colin, come back to me. Alex Johnson, of course. He's going to be key, isn't he? If he can come off the bench, what an impact Alex Johnson can make.
Brilliant stuff, Chris. Thank you very much for that. Let's go and hear from the man himself, the man in question. Guys, he kept an important clean sheet in the first leg, and commanding centre-back Danny Ellis thought it was vital to his side's chances of progressing.
Well, it was a professional performance at home.
I've gone all season.
2:40 on the clock, that was great.
I've gone all season without a single blue and then that.
Professional performance, and we know what to expect on Saturday.
Obviously, a 2-goal lead, as said, all important things. How crucial was it to not let them back in?
I can't believe I've gone all season without a single
able to get obviously
anything like that.
Chance at goal,
I have
which
to say
sort of kept him out as much as possible.
Past the late fitness test that often this season.
Different game altogether.
At least we got Ferriby Jake in the studio.
2 goals, it's always
so again,
Ferriby Jake in the studio.
Obviously, you've been in a situation with guys before. How much can you draw on past experiences with another set of playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, it is a lottery at times. I mean, we've finished second the last couple of seasons and, you know, not done so well. But I mean, this time finishing 5th, I think there's we're the same.
Guys.
At the same time, we've got to keep the momentum going and keep professional, and hopefully we can kick on, and you never know.
With going about it pretty quietly and just sneaking in towards the end, does that take some of the pressure off from finishing second?
Well, I think it does. I mean, finishing second, I mean, the teams that are in the playoffs have been up there all season. We've sort of like come from sort of nothing.
We could always go into a jingles a little bit earlier and do more about the team news or something.
We won,
that's what I try and do with it.
Anyway, but it's a little bit different this time. There's more
30 seconds left.
Pressure on us, but there's more pressures on the teams above us, sort of. They've been up there all season.
It's the late fitness test.
And of course, going to their place on Saturday, we saw tonight that the physical side, to say the least.
Yeah, we know what they're all about. They're quite direct, make it difficult for you to work hard, and like I say, we know what to expect.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now.
Take it on till Saturday now.
Danny Ellis chatting to Chris Bell there. Sorry, just a couple of seconds there, just still recovering from a few moments before. Of course, you know, I have to say, you know, we're talking about the injury there to Danny Ellis, and he's obviously passed a late fitness test. I mean, I saw you when you were doing that interview with him, and you know, I was wondering, is it really fair to ask him to walk from the tunnel to where you were stood a few yards away, because he was hobbling that heavily, wasn't he?
I did feel quite bad for Danny, having to make him walk away from the tunnel. No, he was clearly in some discomfort. He's passed the test at least, though, because you know he was commanding, as we said, as always. You know, if a cross is coming in, you just know that from a Guiseley perspective, he's going to be there to get it away, and he does that. So he's got such a threat, you know, at both ends really with his head. How many goals have we seen him score over the last few years from set plays for Guiseley? Key that he's there. And you know, him and Danny Hall as well seem to have formed a really good partnership at the back.
And in terms of the other players who are missing, it's nice to see Stephen Drench out on the field at the moment. He's warming up with Steve Dickinson. Obviously, Steve Dickinson is the man who will be starting this afternoon. But Stephen Drench, he certainly looks a man who's in improving shape, and you'd hope, should touch wood, Guiseley get through to this playoff final, that Drench will be back for that. Yeah,
absolutely. You know, as we said on Wednesday, in fact, you know, that there was a few murmurs when we saw the team sheet and saw it was Stephen Dickinson instead of Stephen Drench, and you know, that wasn't of it's Dickinson. It was more a case of what a big loss Stephen Drench was. Has to be said, Dickinson, who did come in, did really well. You know, he wasn't tested from a goalkeeping perspective, you know, in saving shots, but his distribution was outstanding. You know, he was, you know, he got the assist basically for Ollie Johnson's goal. But as you say, it is important for Steve Drench that he's out there, he's with the lads. You know, he's out on the pitch doing some warming up as well. So obviously, you know, whilst he's not fit enough to start, he is, touch wood, on the road to recovery.
Well, North Ferriby manager Billy Heath was unhappy with his side's display in the 2-0 loss to Guiseley on Wednesday evening.
The performance went great. It went poor, but it went great. It just
2:45 on the clock.
We just looked tired.
Is JP still with you, Jake?
2 goals, obviously. Went, 2 goals.
Yeah, he is, Jeff.
Right, can you pop you onto the mic for a second, please?
Back to front. We went great. You know, we've got to do better than that. We've got to defend a lot better than that. Obviously negatives as well.
Right, JP, just to let you know, as it is, we are running the Convex off the YB, but the YouTube stream is being run off the Wi-Fi. So, should the YB go down for any points, the Convex is still putting output into YouTube.
You know, now he's paying the price for it now.
Right, fine.
He sits in our changing room.
You're just a bit loud and level at the moment, because if you just want to drop that down a bit.
Yeah, have done. But yeah, just to let you know, so if for any reason we drop out as regards going back to the studio, the YouTube stream is still going out.
So we're just hanging on at the minute.
I'm not sure how you want to work it if that happens, or what you want to do with the backup plan, but that's the way we've set up.
Well, we haven't got one really. We've no way of getting the YouTube feed in, so if you go down on our leg, we just need to get back up there.
He was outstanding tonight. You know, the boys played, that's his second game in.
Right, I'll let Jake jump back in.
Yeah, okay, that's okay though, because we don't need to switch that off. We just need to reset that and get back on as quickly as we can.
Well, I'll just commentate and you just do the doings, and I'll just, you know, I'll just bring you in for a second or two. You do your bit. Yeah, it should be fine.
We should be okay.
You know, we should have probably done better. Russ Fry's volleyed over from 6 yards. First half, he's volleyed over from 6 yards. You know, he drops him in the box and thinks to the target. It wasn't fluent from us. We've played a lot better during the season.
30 seconds left.
The average duration is still in the game,
and that's the main thing.
You see Lewis's
going into
radio classic message you're going to be giving the players then. I've just told him in the dressing room we're still in the game, and like I say, it's how we react now. We face how much belief we've got. The next goal is paramount. You know, we're 2-0 down at half time. That's how I see it. We're 2-0 down in the game at half time.
10,
now we've got
9,
the next goal is paramount.
7, 6, 5,
and goals change games. And
3, 2, 1,
next goal.
Now.
That was North Ferriby United manager Billy Heath speaking to Tom Feeney on Wednesday evening after the Lions put Ferriby to the sword 2-0 on that evening. But of course this afternoon it's a completely different affair, and Guiseley have to set about the task with renewed vigour to defend this 2-0 advantage, but not really think about that 2-0 lead, I think. is perhaps the order of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think guys are going to need to look at this and just think of it as 0-0 almost. You know, win the game and they're through. Simple as that. One thing Billy Heath really reiterated a lot was the next goal is paramount. Well, it is. You know, if Guiseley can get an early goal, then it keeps all the pressure on Ferriby. And from Guiseley's perspective, a third goal could, touch wood, potentially kill off the tie. If Ferriby get the next goal, it really brings them back into it.
I mean, history is littered with two-legged affairs where one team has led by 2-0 and then been overturned in the return leg. So there is no complacency that can be had here.
It's cliched, isn't it? But they always say, oh, you know, 2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline to be 2-0 up. And you kind of think that and think, well, surely 1-0 is. But really, at 2-0, it's that maybe it's that mentality that at 2-0, kind of sides will just, you know, drop off slightly, think maybe, you know, half a job's done. Guiseley can't do that. They need to come out with this. They need to be concentrated at the back. They need to concentrate, know what they're doing, not make any rash mistakes. They can't afford to let Ferriby back into this game, especially in the first, well, really the first half ideally. As I say, if they can get to half time at 0-0, really, Guiseley in the driving seat.
Well, it's a great scene here. There's a lot of fans making their way into the ground now, and a good crowd already has gathered here for this afternoon's game. It's the Eon Visual Media Stadium in North Ferriby, where the Lions take on Guiseley for this all-important second leg of the Skrill North promotion playoff. And 2-0 to the Lions from the first. You're listening to BCB on 106.6 FM. We're also transmitting online, which you can pick up via radio player, tune in. You can also follow us at BCB Radio via Twitter, and don't forget we're also a joint broadcast. That's why you're hearing my dulcet tones. I'm sure you may be regretting hearing my dulcet tones, but we are currently on Guiseley AFC Radio as well, via the YouTube stream, via the main site. So don't forget, plenty of different ways to listen to us. And let's just have a look now at the thoughts of Mark Bauer, because, you know, Guiseley do take a 2-0 lead into this afternoon's match, and Mark Bauer thought Wednesday's night's win was a great team effort.
Would have taken any kind of victory from the game.
250. Because he told us to come on over here, because that was the home press, but this is the away press. Why is he wanting to come over here?
Set the world on fire.
No, just carry down. Was he just saying hello?
Disciplined, defended well.
Sorry.
Chances when they came in, and just showed a bit of quality in that final third. But it's always difficult against Ferriby.
Oh no, we didn't. Thanks. What is it?
A game like, you know, we may be doing in a lot of other games against.
Oh, he's not fit, is he then?
Pressure on the ball, they defend high up the pitch, but what that does leave is a bit of space in behind.
Oh, brilliant! Have you got a new sheet?
On a few occasions.
Oh, that's wonderful. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
How important is it, that clean sheet this evening? Obviously they're putting a lot of pressure on. They got a goal back in the game that would have given them a real foothold for that second leg. So if a clean sheet, you know, with the pressure they were putting on,
especially on a day like today, isn't it?
I don't think they really created anything quick tonight, and that's credit to our back four.
Looks like a good turnout anyway.
The 1-0 time at Decole's goal in the first half.
This is a lovely job, by the way, that's been done here, I think.
I know it's only half the job done, and it's only half time of the tie, so we've just got to make sure we prepare ourselves right now. We've got a few bumps and bruises. One of two lads with illnesses that they've been carrying for a week or so. Really pleased with the effort tonight.
How long to go on this, mate?
Yeah, the old injury hoodoo. It seems to really does. In your managerial career here, seems to have returned a little bit. Stephen Drench was in tonight. Danny Ellis looks to be struggling.
Just came here and so it's a really nice job.
Separate knocks really tonight, Dan. So I think hopefully some more bumps and bruises and the sort of thing that
hopefully we will
to get on. You know, he's got to do something bad to get him off the pitch, but we'll you know, a couple of days now between the second leg. Hopefully he can look after himself, get himself iced up, and I'm sure
mate left, guys.
I think it'll be tight. Just decided.
Be ready to go again Saturday.
How do you set out for Saturday? You know, it's a 2-goal lead, so obviously we've got that advantage going into the game. Do we attempt to just close down the game, or do we go again to just win it?
We go to win the game. You know, we're 2-0 up and it's half time basically. So you know,
shall I slide them all up after this?
In a 45-minute game if we're 2-0 up, so we certainly won't be doing that. Seeing by
lose your momentum then, don't you? It's a curse of second place as well, isn't it? Really,
much of a ball.
It's not good. But you know, there's still quality out.
20 left.
You'll have to excuse me. Right, cheers, all the best.
That's definitely what we'll do, but it's yeah, we will be back.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Mark Bauer there, chatting to myself, Colin Robertson, after Wednesday night's victory for the Lions, and Mark obviously rolling out all of the old cliches. I think we're all running out the cliches so far. I think we're all cliched out, to be honest. I don't think we can come up with another cliche about
there's still
it being
time,
half time.
There's still time.
Trust me, you'll get plenty of those so far this evening. But we've got one change to the team sheet. It's not affecting the Lions, it's affecting the home side. Lewis McMahon has actually had to take the place of Ryan Kendall. Ryan Kendall started on Wednesday night but went off with an injury.
Chris, just drop your level, please.
Lewis McMahon will be on the subs bench instead of Ryan Kendall. So that's one change again that North Ferriby have had to have enforced upon them, and they're sort of really bemoaning the fact that they've struggled so much with injuries, haven't they, this season?
Yeah, very much so. You know, if it's, you know, injuries can change seasons, can't they? And if Ferriby hadn't have had the injuries that they have, we may be here. Well, we may not be here off the point. We may have been at Telford, for example. But you know, they happen. You have to deal with what you've got, and the, you know, you've got to make use of the squad you have. That's why you have a squad at the end of the day. You know, it's a shame for Ryan to miss out. He's a talented player at this level, but from Guiseley's perspective, it's not a bad thing to not see him on the team sheet now on the bench.
Well, we're just a few minutes away from the big match live, so keep tuned in to BCB 106.6 FM, the home of live sport in Bradford.
This is BCB 106.6 FM, the home of live sport in Bradford.
5 seconds left.
Cheers.
Hopefully,
by the time this finishes, they'll come out.
Yeah. Pull him in onto the post. Right back to the wall. He's getting it.
And again, it was the counter-attack. He's down in the 7th round. With the race.
30 left.
It's a
So that one finishes.
Jimmy Talbot, Dylan Black, are you all listening? You boys have taken one hell of a beating. This is BCB 106.6 FM, the home of live sports.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now.
Welcome to the Big Match Live on BCB 106.6 FM, the home of live sport in Bradford. I'm Colin Robertson, and alongside me is Chris Bell. We're just a couple of minutes away from the teams coming out of the dugout and getting started for this Skrill North playoff semi-final second leg. The Lions taking on North Ferriby with a 2-0 lead that they have brought to them from Nethermore, but it'll be a tough afternoon in a packed Eon Visual Media Stadium here in North Ferriby, and the two sides just coming out of the tunnel and lining up and going through the various handshakes that they do nowadays. And Chris, really now it's a sort of quiet summer's afternoon at the moment, but what we're about to witness is going to be pivotal in the histories of both these clubs.
How are your nerves, Colin? It's a very question. Yeah, this, you know, this could make or break the future for these sides, can't it? You know, if either of these sides can get through the next round and then well, for the final and then get promotion, you know, that could be the new era, can we say, of a side playing at the top level of non-league football. Well, we hope it's going to be Guiseley, of course. But this is going to be an intriguing battle, isn't it? It's going to be an intriguing tactical battle between Mark Bauer and Billy Heath.
So let's just go through the team lineups once again just before we kick off this game. First of all, the home side, North Ferriby United. They line up with Adam Nicklin, Paul Robson, Nathan Peet, who makes his entry back after missing out on Wednesday night, Jonathan Delaria likewise, Mark Gray, Matt Wilson, Danny Clark, Russell Fry, Anthony Wilson, who started on the bench on Wednesday night, gets a starting place in the lineup, is fit enough to start this afternoon. Nathan Jarman and Danny Emerton. And then on the bench, Josh Wild drops back to the bench, and Tony Pecora. Lewis McMahon, a late addition, replacing Ryan Kendall, who's had to drop out after tweaking something in the warm-up. Greg Anderson, and another former Lion, Dean Lyles, who is completing the substitute bench for the home side. Guiseley, they start with Steve Dickinson in goal once again. Stephen Drench is on the bench this afternoon and has been warming up, but just not fit enough yet to make way into this starting lineup. Andy Holdsworth, Ben Parker, Danny Hall, Danny Ellis passing a late fitness test, Jake Lawler, Wayne Brooksby, Danny Boschel, Adam Boys, Ollie Johnson, Gavin Rodney on the bench, Rhys Maynell, Stephen Drench, Alex Johnson also passing a late fitness test, Michael Potts and Kevin Horsgrove. We're underway here. North Ferriby United playing in white with green shorts and green socks, immediately going long, shooting from left to right from where we're looking as Guiseley defend an early attack, and there's a chance here, a sniff for Nathan Jarman early doors there, that's snuffed out by Danny Hall. Guiseley are in all yellow and are shooting from right to left as we watch as the fans come across right in front of us to take their position behind the goal away to our left. But at the moment North Ferriby have the ball to help the ball over to Steve Dickinson in the goal for the Lions this afternoon once again, and a long one from Dickinson sends it up towards Ollie Johnson. He can't get there ahead of Matty Wilson, but Danny Boschel recovers the ball, sends it into the left flank where Adam Boys was the target man, helped out though well by Ferriby, who pick it up with Danny Emerton on the halfway line. Robson sends it long and direct, Ben Parker cool, takes a touch though, and it bounces awkwardly off him and out into touch for a throw-in on that right hand side, where Robson will take, about level with the penalty area on that right flank, throws it into the area. Wilson throws himself to the ground, nothing given. Boys chasing after the loose ball, and across is Pete to send the ball back to Nicklin under pressure from Boys. And eventually the ball goes long from the keeper and out into touch, and I can catch my breath.
It's been quite a fast start to this game, hasn't it? Very end-to-end. The important thing from Guiseley so far is that any balls that have come into the box have just been cleared out of touch, or in the case early on, out of the stadium. It's what they need to do. No nonsense, can't dawdle with it at the back. Got to get rid of the danger as quickly as you can, and hopefully be able to get possession at some stage and build and go forward.
So for Ben Parker, sends it into the Ferriby half. Pete collects it though, sends it back to Nicklin. Just the two sides testing each other out early doors, and not surprisingly Ferriby looking very direct, very attack minded in this game in the opening forays. Danny Ellis having to battle, can't win the header, gives it to Wilson. Wilson tries to thump a shot, goal bound, goes way over and into the six-a-side court beyond the goal behind there. But just a sign once again though of the sharpness actually of Anthony Wilson in these early stages.
Yeah, he took it down well then, didn't he? Turned well, just couldn't find the accuracy with the shot there, Anthony Wilson. But again, you can see what the plan's going to be from Ferriby, isn't it? To be direct, to get in Guiseley's faces. They're not playing quite as high a defensive line in the early stages of this game, by the way, as they did on Wednesday night. Maybe the Billy Heath has learnt his lesson after Wednesday.
Pete's just bundled over Ollie Johnson on the far side there. Free kick to Guiseley, about level with the centre circle. The right flank as the Lions attack the Villagers' goal. Wayne Brooksby lines this one up to take. Guiseley have got four players up there, including Ellis and Lawler, so this one will go long towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Whipped in towards the back post. Ellis goes chasing for it. Easy in the end for Nicklin to claim.
Yeah, just a little bit too close to the goalkeeper Nicklin there for Danny Ellis to be able to get on the end of.
Ball down the left flank looking to release Wilson. Just out into touch, and it'll be a Guiseley throw. Early goal in the Premiership for Aston Villa. They lead Hull City by 1-0. Of course, Hull City perhaps got their minds on other things, cup finals, and just down the road from here it'll be a fantastic day out for them.
Of course, we mentioned earlier about the great crowd that's down. Of course, Hull being away will probably have helped that, as Guiseley are, when Leeds and Bradford are away from home.
the moment the ball now played back in field. The Lions win a throw inside their own half, just in front of the dugouts. Wayne Brooksby sort of knocks the ball forward, just trying to slow things down already. You notice just when we get a throw, we're just taking it steady.
No need to rush things, is there?
No. The ball forward now. Park the bus. Wayne Brooksby gets it and is bundled over by Danny Clark, I think, on that far side, and has earned Guiseley a free kick. Level with the edge of the 18-yard box, but right out onto the right-hand touchline in front of the linesman there, Mr. Newhouse. Graham Fivey, the referee this afternoon.
Good chance this one, isn't it, to get the ball into the box for Guiseley.
There's 3 or 4, well, 5 yellow shirts in the penalty area. Ellis and Lawler up again. Boys in there too. Brooksby with the delivery. This time goes up. Boys gets a touch on it. Too heavier a header in the end, and it's gone into the netting behind the goal there.
Yeah, just didn't get the kind of connection that you wanted. Got too much connection, really. Seems to be a little bit more glancing. Instead, just got all of his head on it and a fair bit wide. But guys who can make the most of these set pieces that they seem to be getting in dangerous areas, hopefully we'll see something come from one of them.
Clearance from Gavin Rothery upfield, out into touch for a Ferriby throw. So 6 minutes gone. Oh, feels like an eternity already. It's North Ferriby United 0, Guiseley 0, 2-0 to the Lions on aggregate still. Listening to BCB on 106.6 FM. And Guiseley AFC Radio, joint broadcast this afternoon on our YouTube account. As ever, all season we've been bringing you the games. And at the moment now, Guiseley can counter-attack. They've just picked up the ball there. Sniff of a chance for Wayne Brooksby to find Adam Boyes. Rather hurried clearance there from Pete, and it's Delaria rather, and it's gone out for a Guiseley throw-in just on the halfway line.
Yeah, what was that Guiseley need to hoof in, get rid? That's exactly what Delaria did there, and just put it straight out of play.
Throw in, which Andy Holdsworth will take, level with the centre circle, I'd say. Says it forward towards Wayne Brooksby. Brooksby can't get on the end of it, and it's gone out for a goal kick. I don't know if it's because I've got the headphones on. It seems quite a sedate atmosphere in the ground at the moment. Perhaps we need something to happen to lift the tempo.
I think nervous.
Nervous, yeah.
That's
Sedate's the wrong word, isn't it? Nervous is the word.
Sedate sounds almost relaxed. This isn't relaxed. This is a quiet frenzy.
Now Wilson tries to up the tempo, heads forward to give the ball to Danny Emerton on the right-hand side. Back to Robson here. Robson infield, into the feet of Russell Fry. Fry sends it up towards Emerton, but Guiseley recover the ball. Now Gavin Rothery can send it away. Tries to set Adam Boyes free, but he's not able to win that one. Boschel is tripped by Delaria, and in the end Guiseley have a free kick inside their own half, and that'll eat up another couple of seconds.
Are you planning for time wasting already? Is that what this is, Colin? No, it's another chance, isn't it, for Guiseley to get the ball forward. Dickinson's going to take the free kick. He's going a long way out of his out of the 18-yard box, it has to be said. At the moment, not that high a line from North Ferriby.
Dickinson takes the free kick up towards Boyes, headed away. Now Emerton will complete the clearance up towards Wilson. Wilson wins a touch and actually wins the throw-in as well, and he takes it very quickly, trying to set Nathan Jarman free. Jarman goes down towards the touchline, keeps it in, gets it back across the face of the goal, but Guiseley eventually clear with Ben Parker. Headed back on there by Gray, this time towards the edge of the 18-yard box where Wilson goes down, is pushed right on the edge of the area. A very dangerous free kick this for North Ferriby. A yard or so away from the edge of the 18-yard box, right on the right angle of the penalty area. And Ferriby can get the big men forward now.
They can. It looks like Russell Fry is just going to try and deliver this right-footed up towards one of the big men. Three-man Guiseley wall. It's being formed.
Fry steps over it. 9 minutes gone, 0-0 at the moment, but Ferriby have this free kick whipped in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Jake Lawler, up towards Ollie Johnson, flicked on by Pete onto this left-hand side. Jake Lawler steps across now, and he's under close attention from Danny Clark, and he does well to blast the ball against him and knock the ball out for a throw-in to the Lions. in their own right-back position.
Did very well there, didn't he, Jake Lawler? It looked like he was just going to have to put it out himself and concede the throw, but was able to play it off the North Ferriby midfielder.
Well, one game that could have some consequence for these two is the relegation battle at League 2. And Wycombe, there's 3 teams all that could go down yet in that final place. Wycombe were one of them who could join Torquay, and they are playing Torquay, and Wycombe have taken an early lead. So Wycombe 1, Torquay 0. And in the other one, it's Northampton 0, Oxford United 1. So Northampton a little bit further and deeper into the mire there this afternoon. Keep a close eye on that. And an early goal as well for Tranmere Rovers against Bradford City this afternoon. Bradford City trailing by a goal to 0 now in League 1. Here it is still 0-0. North Ferriby on the ball. Just concede possession now. Gavin Rothery with a chance to have a run at this defence. Plays it out left hand side. Picked up by Adam Boyes. Boyes infield. Jake Lawler now takes over. Gives it to Danny Boschel. First chance really for Guiseley to come forward with a bit of possession football. Rothery out to the left hand side. Parker comes forward. Has got himself offside. And in the end, it's going to be a free kick and a disappointing end to what looked a promising move.
Yeah, Guiseley well there, got the ball down well. Some good interchanging of play between the likes of Gavin Rothery and Boyes and Parker, but in that position, you've got to make sure you're on side, and Parker just didn't do it there, and the flag on that far side did go up against the Guiseley left back.
No argument either was there from the Guiseley players, so clearly just a bit of slack positional play. In the meantime, the ball goes long once again, and Wilson, such a difficult target man to play. Danny Hull does well that time. I think actually it was Jake Lawler who got the touch, and it's back in the hands anyway of Stephen Dickinson.
The thing with Anthony Wilson, you know, he's a pretty big unit, but he's got really good movement as well, and you know, you don't always get that with a big target man type striker, but his movement's there. So good reading of the game.
Ferriby picked the ball up now. Delaria sends it out to the left-hand side, but a good tackle there from Andy Holdsworth. It looked to me like he might have just got a knock, but it's just out for a throw-in. That's the result, which Pete will take for Ferriby. 12 minutes gone, scoreless here, BCB. Guiseley now defending because Wilson's just got something down this left flank. He's got players around him and is forced back, but can come forward down the right-hand side now with Robson. The home side pressing now as they try to make a breakthrough. Whipped in by Emerton, in towards the chest of Wilson. There's an argument for a handball, but in the end, the ball is safely back with Steve Dickinson in his hands. And the Lions can breathe.
Yeah, a little nervy there at the back, perhaps, when Ferriby were in full flow, really trying to come forward. We're just pleased to see the ball bounce off Danny Emerson straight through to Steve Dickinson.
Dickinson comes out of his goal, launches it long. He's got a heck of a kick on him, hits the 18-yard box, but Ferriby defend. Now Guiseley pick up the second phase, lobbed back in by Danny Boschel, but in the end a little bit far away from Adam Boyes and comfortable for Adam Nicklin, the Ferriby keeper, to get.
Yeah, he was never really going to get on the end of that there, was he, Adam Boyes?
Another direct ball from Ferriby, looking to release Emerton. Emerton goes charging down that right-hand side. It's out nonetheless. Ben Parker shadowing well, a little bit beyond him. And Guiseley have a throw in their own left-back position. It's nerve-wracking stuff, this. I keep looking at my clock every single minute.
It's not going to go any quicker, Colin.
I can't do 90 minutes, I don't think.
It's not going to go any quicker.
Ferriby still camping Guiseley in their own half. Parker sends it long up towards Boyes on the halfway line. Boyes gets a touch on, but can only give possession back to Matty Wilson and North Ferriby. He's a little bereft of support up there just at that moment. The goalkeeper sends it up towards the head of Jarman. Ellis wins that battle. Matty Wilson takes the ball once again on the halfway line. Sends it out to the right-hand side. Good tackle from Andy Holdsworth in on Danny Clark, but it is another Ferriby throw. And they're starting with conviction, I'd say, in this first 15 minutes or so. Ferriby have certainly had the better of the early play. But as yet, I think we're really awaiting a clear-cut chance for either side.
Yeah, absolutely. Both sides have had a decent amount of the ball. Probably Ferriby had a little bit more, but as you say, neither side yet to test either goalkeeper.
Mark Gray just sends the ball back to Adam Nicklin. OJ goes looking for it. That's Ollie Johnson. Keeper clears, and Jarman collects 30 yards from goal into the feet of Clark on the left-hand side. The ball whipped into the area, headed away by Danny Ellis. Absolute immense performance from him on Wednesday night. Gavin Rothery now trying to get out of the own half, and Ferriby showing that high-line pressing game that they play with such effect in this league. Guiseley managing to defend this instance, but only at the expense of another throw for the home side inside the Lions half.
You mentioned there at the high pressing play, it's worked for them most of the season, hasn't it? Didn't quite work for them on Wednesday night. Hopefully guys will be able to take advantage of that again.
The throw comes down the left-hand side. Guiseley defend. Jake Lawler again having to hit touch. And there's a bit of complaints between the Guiseley players and the referee for a moment for something, I'm not quite sure what. Ferriby just keeping Guiseley encamped in their half in this last couple of minutes. A ball forward now towards Jarman. It's overhit and it's just gone over the former Chesterman's head and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was a good play from Danny Hall there, because he deliberately ducked out of the way of that just to make sure he wasn't going to accidentally concede a corner. Another chance for Steve Dickinson to get some welly in it.
Strangely sedate, isn't it? It really is strangely quiet. There's,
it's a great crowd.
Really, yeah, I was going to say, that's no reflection on the numbers here. There's actually a lot of people in this crowd, but I think there's a lot of nerves on either side. Ferriby, though, having the better of the early play, and now Clark on the left-hand side overhits a cross, and it's just about to go out, I think, for a throw-in for Guiseley just by that left corner flag in their left-back position. And if you look at it, there is only at this moment in time Adam Nicklin in the Ferriby half. Everybody else encamped. Guiseley have a throw-in inside their own back line, but Billy Heath has got his team closing down and playing a very high line. Danny Ellis just gets bundled over as he shadows the ball, shepherds the ball out for a goal kick.
It is very, very nervous, isn't it? Everybody is.
Yes. Simple as that, really.
For guys, it's the case of, well, you know, we've been in this situation before in the playoffs, and you know, things haven't gone well before, so there's always that nervous of just letting go what you've got already. For Ferriby, the energy is, you know, we need to get back into this, but the longer it goes without Ferriby getting a goal, the more nervous they'll become.
Question is how long can Guiseley hold out, I think, at the moment. You know, Ferriby are getting the ball, they're knocking it about and pressing. They have a throw at the moment just on the halfway line. Be overextending themselves in the way that both sides sort of did on Wednesday night. Long one forward now to Anthony Wilson. He nods it down. Ben Parker collects, clears up towards the halfway line, bounces over almost into our equipment here in the press box, which is very close to the touchline. And in the end, it's a Ferriby throw in the halfway line.
It's a brilliant place to watch the game, for instance, very close to the pitch, but you do worry that if a defender puts the ball out of play, we're going to cop for it straight in the face, Colin.
Ferriby now coming down the left-hand side. Wilson's kept it in touch. No, he hasn't. Thought for a minute he'd got the ball past Andy Holdsworth and was heading into the penalty area, but the linesman's flag on the far side there was up. And it will be a throw-in for Guiseley. Still 0-0 here if you're just tuning in. We're simultaneously broadcasting via BCB on 106.6 FM by their online broadcasting, which is on the website at bcbradio.co.uk. And you can also possibly be joining us in via Guiseley AFC Radio, which is on our YouTube channel, which can be found from the official Guiseley AFC website. Nothing to report goals-wise or opportunities-wise, but Ferriby having the better possession and the better intent early doors. Ball just played forward by Jarman. I think that will be easy for Danny Hall to defend. He blasts it against Danny Clark ahead of the Ferriby midfielder, and in the end it's a goal kick for the Lions.
As we say, no chances of real significance as yet. which kind of tells you all you need to know about how this game's been played. You know, both sides just taking the time to suss each other out. Well, as we say, Ferriby have had a lot more of the ball really in the opening 19 minutes or so.
This one's along, looking for Boys from the goalkeeper. Ferriby will be very aware of the danger he presents from those balls over the top. Danny Ellis collects the ball in the second phase. Gavin Rothery on the halfway line, sends Boys away. He's got clear of the back two. It's an awkward ball over him. He collects, gives it into Ollie Johnson. Johnson's shot is blocked. Gavin Rothery collects on the edge of the 18-yard box. He's tackled well by Pete, and then Adam Boys works hard to prevent Pete from coming away with the counter-attack. But good start there from Guiseley, and a good half chance there really for Adam Boys. The ball over the top, difficult for him to take down though.
Yeah, absolutely. It just wouldn't fall kindly for him, would it? It was an awkward one to bring down and to take control of when it came to it. Got the ball across to Johnson, shot was blocked though. And in the end, Ferriby were able to do enough to clear the danger.
Danny Boschel just collecting the ball, giving it into the feet of Brooksby. Brooksby tries to clear. No player in a yellow shirt has any space on the ball in this early foray. Every time Ferriby are around them and in the end have won the ball back on the halfway line. They send it long, looking for Wilson. A slip of a header from Ellis. Gives the ball to Wilson. Wilson can't control. And in the end, Guiseley can clear up to the halfway line, but it's going to come back at them. Pete sends it back to goalkeeper Nicklin. 21 minutes gone, still 0-0. Nicklin with a clearance. Guiseley take it down. There's a push clearly on Lawler, but the referee doesn't give that one. Emerton now cuts in field. He's got Ben Parker to beat. Parker wins that one, but the referee is given a free kick there. Which rather is confusing to Danny Emerton.
Yeah, I'm not convinced with that one at all, Colin. I thought it was a pretty good tackle from Ben Parker there. Clearly got all the ball.
So it's a free kick, 21 minutes gone, 0-0 here between Ferriby and Guiseley, but free kick to the home side. Russell Fry whips the ball in up towards the back post. Dickinson goes looking for it, takes a touch off a Ferriby head, and in the end it's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad ball in. Dickinson came and got something on it, was only able to punch it onto the head of a Ferriby player out for a goal kick. That's it, Colin, you take a deep breath.
Did that come through on air?
The good news is, you know, we're almost a quarter of the way through, and so far,
so good.
So good.
It's going to be a long afternoon, I feel. The Lions still 0-0. Newcastle have taken the lead against a Cardiff City side this afternoon, 1-0 to Newcastle, and York City, local side to watch out for, losing at Scunthorpe by 1-0. Guiseley now on the ball here with Ollie Johnson. Gets the ball in here to Wayne Brooksby. Brooksby, just a heavy touch on the pass. Looks to the heavens in frustration with that ball because Adam Boys was just pulling off his marker. In the end, it's rather easily given to Adam Nicklin. And Guiseley have to capitalise on these half chances whenever they arise. Free kick for the Lions in the meantime from the clearance from the goalkeeper's feet. Because there's an offside decision against Nathan Jarman.
Yeah, that was another one, wasn't it, where you just need the perfect ball, and the perfect ball through for Boys didn't come.
You just wonder, don't you, whether you know, if Ferriby were to get that goal, whether this game would open up even more so.
Is it worth thinking about, Colin? Right now?
I don't. I'm just thinking of things to fill in time because I'm just a little bit nervous here, and Steve Dickinson clearly is too, because he's just played the ball straight to North Ferriby from a free kick.
And straight under the foot of Ben Parker as well, didn't it?
Guiseley battling hard though to win possession back, and the ball eventually finds its way back to Dickinson. Certainly doesn't look uncomfortable like a substitute keeper often does, or a second choice. He's, as we've talked, vastly experienced goalkeeper, and here he plays the ball out, gets good length on it. It's headed out by Nathan Peat. It's going to be a throw to Guys. He's just in front of Mark Bauer's dugout there. We're just having a little chat with Andy Holdsworth. Holdsworth absolutely in no hurry. Guys are trying to play this game at their pace. Ferriby trying to play it at theirs, which is much more high tempo. Guys, they'll win a throw inside the Ferriby half on that right-hand side.
Yeah, they'll be happy at the moment. They just keep stealing yards on that far side with the throw-ins and keeping Ferriby in their own half at the moment, because we haven't seen much of that so far.
Brooksby battling for the ball on the right flank. Can't win this one. In the end, it's nodded away by the home side, but only as far as Ollie Johnson. Still right on the right touchline. Tries to thread a ball through to find Danny Boschel. Guiseley still in possession now. Wayne Brooksby's muscled off the ball though, and the clearance will be completed by Pete. But Andy Holdsworth intercepts, sends a looping ball forward towards the goal, but Ferriby once again defending. Now have a chance to counter-attack. They come over the halfway line with Emerton. Emerton's got Robson to the right-hand side of him. Emerton going alone at the moment towards the corner flag. Ben Parker will send him out there. In the end, Guiseley can clear with Gavin Rothery completing the clearance up to the halfway line. And it will be a Ferriby throw inside their own half. But Emerton just a little bit one-directional there, really. Might have lacked support.
He wasn't for looking up those, try and find it though. Robson was coming down the right-hand side on the outside, and then in the end gave up, thinking he was never going to get it off him.
Rothery gets it up to the halfway line. Picked up now by Andy Holdsworth. Holdsworth up to the right-hand side, where Wayne Brooksby takes over. Brooksby with a little bit of space to run into, comes over the halfway line, takes on Pete. Pete stands across him, concedes the free kick, and I think that will be the first talking to of the afternoon. Not sure that's a bookable offence, but it was a fairly
experienced fullback is Nathan Pete. He knew exactly what he was doing.
He knew what he had to do, because that was the first time really we've seen any space for Wayne Brooksby to run at the Ferriby defence.
Absolutely.
Because they've been closed down so effectively, haven't they, so far?
Yeah. You know, we expected North Ferriby to come out and try and close down and put the pressure on guys when they have the ball. Frankly, that's exactly what they've done so far, and guys, they haven't been able to that, and North Ferriby winning it back quickly as well.
Game slowed down here. Wayne Brooksby just waiting to take this free kick, still 0-0. Guys with the free kick, whipped into the area up towards where Jake Lawler is standing. He can't challenge for that because it's headed way away from him. Out for a throw-in on the right flank. Andy Holdsworth trundles over. Holdsworth with a throw, about level with the 18-yard box. Plays it in here to Ollie Johnson. Johnson down towards the corner flag. 2 players on him. Does well to win a throw. Just up from the corner flag. And Andy Holdsworth again, just steady away, going across to collect the throw.
Another good position. Nobody getting close to him though to make it easier for him to find a yellow shirt.
Holdsworth looks for options. Plays it into Brooksby. Brooksby gets it back and the flag goes up. Andy Holdsworth was offside when he took the return ball. Disappointing end to that spell of possession and the positions that we were taking up at that point.
Easy, for the want of a better word, but just make sure you're onside to get the ball back.
The word that Ada uses is inattentive. Whenever he's frustrated. Inattentive defending, he says, or inattentive play. And Guiseley have just benefited from inattentive play, I think, from Ferriby's point of view, and have got a free kick. Andy Holdsworth just talking to Graham Fivey, the referee. They've had the ball outside of their own half for a spell. They've relieved some of that pressure that we were certainly experiencing. And Steve Dickinson sends this one long up towards Adam Boyes. Boyes gets a little flick on it. The referee points straight for a goal kick.
Yeah, not quite enough on that was for Adam Boyes to send it goal bound, or not enough pace on it to make it dangerous, but
0-0 here if you're just joining us. BCB 106 on their YouTube channel, so we are bringing it to you every which way we can. There's not much to bring so far. It's scoreless, and there hasn't been a direct chance as yet, but you feel that might come. Ferriby now have an opportunity to get the ball into the box. They have a throw in on the far side. It's back to Pete, but Pete fluffs his lines. Nathan Pete can't keep the ball in play, and it's out for a throw into Guiseley in their right back position.
He was just trying a little bit too much there, wasn't he, Nathan Pete, to bring that ball down. He could have just used his chest and controlled it better perhaps, but instead tried to use an outstretched leg and didn't work.
Tell you what, there's 3 cameras opposite us filming, providing highlights packages and what have you. the moment, they'll be coming out and going back in for half-time. The ball played forward now. Anthony Wilson gets it under control, but right back to the centre circle now, and Ollie Johnson does well to win the ball back off him. Little tug at his shirt. Does well to play the ball down the right-hand side. Adam Boyce chases, doesn't give Matty Wilson a chance to settle. Good work from Boyce, even though Wilson gets it clear. Guiseley now pick it up here with Danny Boschel on the halfway line. Bit of head tennis, and in the end it's a Guiseley throw on the halfway line, just in front of the home dugout.
You can see exactly what Billy Heath thought of that, just a spin on one leg and goes and sits back down in his dugout in frustration.
Throw-in once again, flicked on here by Danny Boschel. The chase on for Adam Boyes as he goes chasing against Matty Wilson. Such a cool customer, Matty Wilson. As we were saying, scored such an important goal in the playoff first leg at Nuneaton for Guiseley a few years ago.
He
completes
did.
The clearance now.
I was there for that.
Plays the ball up now. Ferriby have a chance. Wilson with a little knock on. Emerton comes towards the edge of the D. He's got several yellow shirts around him. Plays it out to the left-hand side. A shot from Jarman comes in from distance. Easy for Steve Dickinson in the end, but he had attention from Anthony Wilson, who was waiting for any spillages, so he had to hold on to the ball first time.
First real effort on goal, I think, to be honest. First actual save that Steve Dickinson's had to make. Thankfully, it was straight at him.
First one for the Optastats, eh? Now the ball picked up on the halfway line by Ferriby, but intercepted well by Danny Boschel. Look, little trickery from Ollie Johnson and a really clumsy challenge there from Matty Wilson. And I would say that was probably deserving of a yellow card, and the referee is going to do so. That's a good advantage to Guiseley to have one of the centre halves, one of the physical defenders on a booking so early on in this game.
Yeah, it was unusually clumsy there from Matt Wilson. Let's concede that.
Hull City 1, Aston Villa 1. So the Tigers have levelled the scores, and it's Northampton 1, Oxford 1. And a big result in the Premiership, which I'll tell you in a minute, but we have got a big scoreline rather. A free kick here, just on the edge of the centre circle to Guiseley. Boschel forward into the penalty area. Well claimed by Adam Nicklin. Danny Ellis is sent tumbling. Gets himself up. But the danger passes.
They caught the ball there, did Anthony Nicklin, went down and rolled, and they rolled straight into Danny Ellis and took him off his feet.
Header away by Ben Parker. Guiseley still trying to get this ball under control. Matty Wilson sends it long up towards Anthony Wilson. In the end, he's adjudged to have pushed and pulled at Danny Hall, and a free kick's given to Guiseley. Now, that free kick, that scoreline in the Premiership is Manchester United against Sunderland, and it's 1-0 to Sunderland. So the
my other half will be delighted.
The fight at the bottom continues for the Black Cats, or the Rokerites as they were in my day. But Sunderland are battling hard to get themselves out of relegation zone, and have now got the early goal and now lead by 1-0. Steve Dickinson with this free kick up towards Adam Boyes, headed away once again. Aerially very strong both these sides, flicked on by Ben Parker. Header from Robson up to the halfway line. Jarman with a good raking ball to the left hand side gives Clark a chance to run at that one, but Clark just unable to make up the yards to keep that one in touch, and it's out for a Guiseley throw.
The right idea though, wasn't it, from Jarman trying to get out on the left hand side where there was plenty of space for Ferriby as they were going to try and come forward, but just a little bit too much on that, out for a throw.
Battle to win the ball back on the halfway line. Ends up with Ferriby getting a throw in exactly on the halfway line on the left hand side, the far side from us, which is taken by Nathan Peat, headed on by Andy Holdsworth. The ball in by Anthony Wilson. Steve Dickinson just has to watch that. Took a bit of an awkward bounce in front of him. He was out as far as the penalty spot, but claims comfortably in the end. So we're into the 35th minute with no breakthrough for either side as yet. Kevin Rothery, just a bit of a late challenge there on Emerton. No free kick given. This time Guiseley win a throw. Jake Lawler right in the halfway line. Lays it back here to Danny Hall. Hall sends it long up towards Ollie Johnson. Can he get the flick on that counts? Matty Wilson wins that header. He looks fired up, doesn't he? Ball goes forward. Now Wilson is beaten to it this time by Anthony Wilson, and inexplicably Wilson has been given a free kick against that, and I can't see in any way how he could have deserved or earned that free kick.
Yeah. That sums it up, doesn't it? There wasn't much to say with that one. Not much happened. Ferriby fortunate to get that.
Free kick it is to Ferriby, and they've got everyone in the penalty area. Whipped in towards the back post, headed on by Matt Wilson, just creeps past the upright and behind for a goal kick. There'd have been a bit of controversy about that had it gone in. There's no real question that that was a free kick in the first place, and then the header just goes across the face of the goal and out for a goal kick.
Let's face it, probably the best chance of the game so far for me.
Goal kick that Steve Dickinson will take in due course.
What have we got on the clock now, eh? Just over 35 minutes.
Yeah, 9 minutes to go till the break. Free kick taken by Steve Dickinson. Big turnaround in the battle to stay in the Football League. Northampton, who were trailing at home to Oxford United. Remember, Wycombe Wanderers also winning. A lot of teams down there on 50 points. And with chances to leapfrog each other. Northampton now leading by 2 goals to 1.
They're playing Oxford United, aren't they?
That's right.
Chris Wilder against his former side.
You see, you know your stuff, Chris. Flicked on their way, Brains Brooksby. Adam Boyes isn't going to get ahead of the defender. Guys, he still battle for it. In the end, it's a throw-in for the Lions. And Wayne Brooksby hassling Nathan Peat on that far side and winning the throw. And guys, you have a throw on the right-hand side, about level with the penalty area. Andy Holdsworth will take. There are 4 players in yellow shirts in and around the penalty area. Holdsworth won't go long with it though. He'll send it short this time. Brooksby and Holdsworth combine. Holdsworth goes chasing it. The ball down by the corner flag. Thumping header comes in from Delaria. Powerful play from the Ferriby man to ensure that guys go no further. Holdsworth though gets the ball back from the throw-in. Cuts it infield here to Ollie Johnson. Eventually a cross comes in from Wayne Brooksby, but it's overhit. And goes over the crossbar and behind for a goal kick.
Again, a cross that comes in to the Ferriby 18-yard box with just a little bit too much power on it, a little bit too much, and just doesn't give the likes of Adam Boyes a chance really to get on the end of it.
Well, I tell you what, it's not one for the football purists, or it's not going to be a classic this first 45, but we'll take it as it is. Still 0-0. Best chance has fallen to Ferriby. And now they come forward again down this right-hand side with the fullback, Paul Robson. His cross in towards Jarman, headed away by Ellis. Up towards Wayne Brooksby, who's battling for this one. Well won by Pete. Brooksby's down, and Holdsworth is down in 2 separate incidents. But Brooksby went for it, and he got a real thump on the head. No foul, no question of a foul. It was just a 50-50 coming together. But Wayne Brooksby looks like he's getting some serious attention here from Martin Stringfellow, the Guiseley physio.
Certainly seemed to come off worse then, didn't it? Without a shadow of a doubt.
Not good if he has to go off early doors, but he's still on the ground. And Martin Stringfellow straight across to see what the problem is. I think Guiseley will be grateful for the stoppage of play, except for the injury, really.
Yeah, quick chance for the other players, obviously, to take on water effectively. I mean, you know, when you're out there in that bright sunshine, it's quite warm today. Thankfully, we're nicely shaded in the main stand here at North Ferriby.
So what do you make of this first 40 minutes or so, Chris?
I think you've just summed it up nicely a couple of minutes ago, really. It's not one for the purists, but from Guiseley's point of view, it doesn't need to be. They can be perfectly happy with the way things are going. You know, as long as North Ferriby don't score 2, you know, Guiseley are going through. And as it is, Ferriby, just a couple of half chances, really. Yet to test Steve Dickinson. And Mark Bow will take this. You know, as I said before our hand in the build-up, if we go in at half-time 0-0, it puts all the pressure on North Ferriby in the second half. They've got no option then to just chuck everything at it, because they need at least 2 just to take it to extra time.
A bit of a worry though that Wayne Brooksby is still down on the ground at the moment, still being tended to by Martin Stringfellow. Something around the face that's been dealt with or been seen to. I don't know whether he's got a cut. It looks to be in a bit of pain, and Martin Stringfellow is tending to him still here.
You look at the options on the substitutes bench, just in case: Rhys Maynard, Stephen Drench, Alex Johnson, Michael Potts and Kevin Holsgrove. So there's attacking options there, should they be needed.
quickly go down the score lines. Of course, earlier on, West Ham United beat Tottenham Hotspur by 2-0. Aston Villa and Hull level one apiece at Villa Park. Manchester United trailing by 1-0 to Sunderland. Newcastle United 1, Cardiff City 0. Stoke and Fulham 0-0. Swansea Southampton 0-0. Evening kick-off between Everton and Manchester City, an important one that will decide the fate of the Premier League and potentially. Don't forget, if you want to let us know your thoughts on this game, you can tweet us at BCB Radio for the BCB Twitter feed, at BCB Radio, or indeed at Guiseley Radio. This is a joint broadcast this afternoon. And we've had a few tweets so far. Chris, I think you can give us a few updates.
Yeah, Susie Barr's been in touch. She says, come on guys to get that away goal. And on Twitter as well, Bradford Blade, Craig, he says, come on Guiseley. That's from a Bradford Park Avenue and Sheffield United fan. Beat them North Ferriby Tigers, as he's called them.
A bit of a reference, I suppose, to the things that are going on over at Hull City. Danny Ellis has now come over to see what's happened to Wayne Brooksby here, but he's
still down, isn't he?
He's down on the ground, and this does look like it's going to be something perhaps more serious than we first feared. Mark Bauer now coming across to see what's happened to him. It looked a fairly innocuous challenge. Thankfully, Wayne's just beginning to sit up now, and touch wood, no matter what else happens, you always hope that player either side, anybody playing on the field isn't seriously injured. Wayne Brooksby's got up. Now Martin Stringfellow's looking at him in the eye to see if he can continue. And touch wood, he is.
As you say, it was very innocuous, just to come in together, no foul either way, both players just going for the ball. These things happen, and as we say, hopefully this one, Wayne Brooksby won't be particularly serious. They're just not rushing things, just taking their time, making sure he gets the necessary check over as he wanders over to that far side.
He doesn't look too steady on his feet. Big, huge of a round of applause for him from both sets of fans. Respect for the fact that he's clearly had a serious knock. That means there's going to be a fair amount of stoppage time in this first half. And there had been another goal as well, by the way, in that battle at the bottom of League 2 of note, and it had happened at Bristol Rovers. Mansfield leading Bristol Rovers by 1-0. All the machinations of that and everything around the country will be brought to you at half time.
Brooksby's back on.
Wayne Brooksby, yes, he's made his way back onto the field. That's quite something. I was going to say, for Jake Doyle and Alex Rhodes will be bringing you everything from around the country in the sports centre. But thankfully we're back underway, and thankfully Wayne Brooksby's back on the ball and looking sharp as ever, just cutting in field, lays it square here to Danny Boschel. Boschel tries to leave it forward into the feet of Boys, but he can't make the pass through. Ben Parker will collect, does well out here on left midfield at the moment. Forward now by Danny Boschel into the feet of Adam Boys. No space for Guiseley to play into, but good work nonetheless from Guiseley. Jake Lawless dispossessed, and then the ball forward from Fry, quickly picked out by Hall. Guiseley still can't retain possession. Boys battling with Delaria, can't win that one, and then Matty Wilson collects, sends it long up towards Anthony Wilson. Wilson knocks it down. In the end, Ferriby can't keep it in play, and it's gone out for a throw-in for the Lions.
Yeah, just another chance for Guiseley to get possession. Obviously they've got this throw, if they can see what they can do with it.
Flicked on by Boys towards Ollie Johnson. Matty Wilson wins it, headed away by Fry, helped forward, and now watched by Hall. He's under pressure from Anthony Wilson. Wilson can't keep that one in. Well watched by Danny Hall. He helps it out for a throw-in in left-back position. It's now Aston Villa 2, Hull City 1. So that will certainly keep Aston Villa safe for another season in the Premiership if it stays as it is.
A lot of pressure, isn't there, on Paul Lambert at the moment?
They always do just enough. Ollie Johnson muscled out by Matty Wilson. from the ball as he's trying to win it, and then the ball goes loose in the penalty area for a moment. Danny Hall steps across. Nathan Jarman looking. Stephen Dickinson stayed on his line. It's a throw into North Ferriby now, just up from the corner flag on the right-hand side. Paul Robson to take. Everybody forward now for Ferriby, except for fullback Nathan Peat. And it's really just a case of the added 4 minutes to play now as we are into stoppage time. The long one forward, flicked in towards the end of the 6-yard box. Good header from Danny Ellis to clear. In the end, Ellis has taken a kick in the head. He lunged down to get the header from Nathan Jarman. Ellis has gone down to ground. And I think we'll be all right, but he certainly seemed to take a boot in the face.
Yeah.
No malice in it, of course. Absolutely no malice, of course, in it. Both players looking to win the ball.
Back on his feet, though, quick as you like. It's what Danny S is all about. He'll take those boots in the face if he has to for the cause.
That's it. There was a little bit of complaint from the home fans behind the goal there that it was another player going down to waste some time, but none of that with Danny Ellis, is there?
No.
Kick me in the face once and I'll get up and you can do it again if you like.
Exactly, yeah. It's the kind of no-nonsense centre-half that he is. You know, any club would love a centre-half like Danny Ellis. Puts his body on the line for the Guiseley cause, he does.
Steve Dickinson taking his time with the free kick. Plays it forwards, up towards Boys. Boys flicks it up into the air. Rothery tries to get it controlled, does well. Gets it back to the halfway line. Boschel, 2 players around him. Every time Guiseley on the ball, they're impressed, and it's worked almost to good effect there for North Ferriby until when Nathan Jarman did collect the ball 35 yards from goal. He opted to try and shoot from distance, perhaps catch Steve Dickinson off the line.
He was a long way over to his right-hand side, though, was Steve Dickinson then. And Jarman fancied his chances.
As he now win the ball back with Boschel. I'd say that Ferriby's game plan is working fairly well so far, but they've done everything except for score the goal from their perspective. They've stifled any chance of Guiseley attacking or threatening their goal. What they haven't done is force the ball over the line.
Yeah, I think Guiseley have defended pretty well, to be honest, though. You know, it's not from necessarily Ferriby being wasteful, it's more from Guiseley generally speaking have defended pretty well.
We've got to do some more defending here because Wilson's coming forward. Now Jarman gives it onto the left hand side, the ball in from Clark. Wilson right on the edge of the 6-yard box, can't turn it over, the ball's still live, it goes clear, still in the 6-yard box, nobody can get on the end of it. Guiseley force it away, right towards the break there. Danny Clark ran through on goal. There's a shout for a penalty from the home fans when he was tackled in the area, but nobody could force it in on the edge of the 6-yard box.
Last ditch defending there, wasn't it?
Mark Bauer now being spoken to by the referees. He's absolutely furious with something. The 4th official on that far side there also across talking to him. It's not like Mark Bauer at all to be spoken to by officials. He's not that sort of character, but he's upset about something and I'm not quite sure what.
Yeah, something certainly rattled his cage.
It's a throw-in though to North Ferriby. A minute, and it's a long throw goes in and towards the edge of the penalty spot. Danny Ellis doesn't win the header, Wilson does. Still Ferriby come forward. Emerton towards the corner flag. Can Guiseley hold on to the break? Emerton now, 3 players around him. The ball goes back though, finds Fry, whipped in, it's a good cross just over Jathan Jarman. It's still chance for Clark to keep this one in touch. No, it's gone behind for a goal kick. And breathe.
That should, fingers crossed. I mean, don't we played it at a time that can't be long to go now, you'd think, and that will hopefully see Guiseley at least go at half time at 0-0, and as we say,
don't think so.
You look at it, 3/4 of the game, touch wood, tapping this desk like now tells, touch wood, that will, 3/4 of a tie through, and Guiseley will still be 2-0 up.
Ball flicked up in the air. Steve Dickinson clears, but it's been very, very tense. Half time here, it's Guiseley 0, it's North Ferriby 0, Guiseley 0. And,
exactly that. Guiseley will be happy with the half, won't they? They've not let Ferriby back into this game score-wise, at least. Whilst Ferriby have had all the possession that they haven't done anything with it in terms of getting themselves back into the game on the scoreline. And at half-time, Matt Barr, I'm sure, will be pretty pleased with how things are going. Guiseley have defended well, and yeah, so far so good for Guiseley.
We'll be back for a full commentary of this second half here from North Ferriby. But in the meantime, let's go and join the guys back in the Sports Centre, Jake Doyle and Alex Rhodes.
Thanks guys, Colin Robertson and Chris Bell there at the ground. Frustrating game for Guiseley and North Ferriby, 0-0. Pretty tedious affair there.
Relax.
Joining us at the home of Bradford Live Sports on BCB Radio 106.6. I am Jake Doyle.
I'm Alex Rhodes, and we'll be looking back at that first half there at North Ferriby, 0-0 with Guiseley, and round up from all the ground as well.
Yeah, but first, it's the home of live sport in Bradford, BCB 106.6.
This is the Sports Centre on BCB 106.6 FM, the home of live sport in Bradford.
Murder a brew, but no chance.
Yeah, and North Ferriby and Guiseley obviously up from the first leg, and we'll be rounding up with the highlights from the 0-0 display of the first half.
Free kick it is to Ferriby, and they've got everyone in the penalty area, whipped in towards the back post, headed on by Matt Wilson, just creased past the other.
No booze for Sam Allardyce today. West Ham 2, Spurs 0.
A great win for West Ham, and third win over their nearest rivals in London there, especially carrying on from the 3-0 win earlier in the season. A great result for Sam Allardyce, getting all the angry supporters off his back.
Definitely turning the boo boys into singing boys there at the end, blowing those bubbles, and Tim Sherwood for me must be heading towards the exit door in terms of Spurs management.
There's a lot of people talking about that, yeah, and at half-time from around the area, Bradford City playing Tranmere Rovers, obviously in threat of relegation, and they need a win to stay up and hope results go their way, and they're currently 1-0 down, Tranmere down to 10 men as well, so all to play for there for the home side at the Wirral. But yeah, we'll hand over to Sam Fleet at the Liberty Stadium, where he's reporting on Swansea versus Southampton.
Half-time, Swansea 0, Southampton 0. Southampton have been on top, not a great game, it's fair to say. Swansea with the better chances, and the 5th minute, Shelby dispossessed Davis in the area, played it to Boney, who played it to Hernandez. His shot was blocked and de Guzman fired over. Shelby's cross found Boney's header went wide, and then Boney another great chance for Swansea, released by Hernandez's header, through on goal. He fired a shot just over. For Southampton, a Klein cross found Gallagher, a completely free header, 6 yards out over the bar. Half-time, Swansea 0, Southampton 0.
And 0-0 there in South Wales. Southampton looking as though they're having the best of the chances there, and they like to finish on their record points tally if they get a point there. So it's a great season for Pochettino at Southampton.
Yeah, it sounds like a bit of a clash at the moment, 0-0, both matching each other, I expect, coming off big wins last week as well.
Yeah,
both
great.
sides.
They're both relatively safe. Southampton obviously want that 8th place ahead of Newcastle, so they'll want that extra 3 points as well away at Swansea, and that'll be a fantastic result for Southampton if they can get the win. But passing over to Darren Stanage at Sunderland, in a hell of a relegation fight away at Old Trafford at Manchester United, where Ryan Giggs' interim managerial career ends its 2nd game, but yeah, it's not going too swimmingly, as Darren Stanage will report now.
Manchester United 0, Sunderland 1 on the break. Ryan Giggs then with an interesting half-time team talk ahead of him. Sunderland leading here, and United haven't had the pace, the urgency that Giggs wanted at all. Just 2 efforts on target. Everett and Matters' efforts comfortably saved by Manon, and for all their possession, United haven't just made enough chances. Sunderland very comfortable. They score with their only effort on the game, really. Wickham finding Seb Larsson unmarked in the box after half an hour to slot home. Half-time, Man United 0, Sunderland 1.
Gus Poyet looking as though he's going to manufacture a great escape. Thank you, Darren, for that report. And
everyone obviously saying last week when Giggs was appointed that he's probably going to win the last 4 games in style. Last week he did, and this week things are changing. You know, a lot of people were expecting a big change, but Sebastian Larsson there, silencing the home crowd and putting Sunderland in the driving seat for a great 3 points.
Yeah, Connor Wickham, of course, winning the Player of the Month award as well, so he's continuing his great form.
Played a big hand in that goal.
Yeah, and looks as Manchester United, obviously with the Tottenham result, could have got up to 6th place with a win, but doesn't look that way at the moment. But we'll pass over to Nick Walsh at St James's Park reporting on Newcastle versus Cardiff City.
Newcastle United 1, Cardiff City 0. Newcastle good value for this lead, courtesy of a Shola Amiobi header, marred only by some fans sticking to their promise of leaving early in protest at the current regime. Wilfred Zaha had the best chance for the visitors, a snapshot saved by Tim Krul with his legs, and a penalty appeal involving the winger waved away. So Cardiff in huge trouble. Newcastle United 1, Cardiff City 0.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer there in deep trouble in his first English job, and they could go down today along with Fulham, which we'll be talking about in a minute. So
both of those sides are heading down at the moment. Cardiff obviously the first here. Newcastle need the big result as well. Obviously alleged walkout at 60 or 69 minutes today, so that's going to be interesting to see in the second half.
Well, yeah, and they're not in great form. Obviously, the turning point was Alan Pardew's stadium ban went after the headbutt at KC Stadium.
But he's back on the touchline now at the Sports Direct. And guiding his team towards victory, it seems, at half-time.
Yeah, well, a long way to go, and Sir Solskjaer rallied the troops for the second half. But passing over to Al Ross now at the Britannia, where he's reporting on Stoke City versus Fulham.
Fulham realistically have to win this, and to win it they need to create some chances, which they haven't yet. Not so the home side, as Sam Arseades fired a warning shot early on. That warning wasn't heeded. Stoke midfielder Stephen Ireland seen David Stockdale save 3 of his efforts, but it's one of the defender blocked instead that's the difference, looping up and falling nicely for Peter Odemwingie to prod home. That strike, Stoke worth their lead at the break. Boost from the travelling Fulham support. Stoke 1, Fulham 0.
Stoke, great result for Stoke. Obviously Fulham in a lot of trouble there under Felix Magath at Britannia as well. Mark Hughes playing some great football, obviously turning the fortunes around.
It's probably the hardest place to go in the league still, or at least it's made it that again since the change of management there.
Yeah, even from the transition from Tony Pulis, which is always going to be a bit difficult, changing the style of the play, but it looks like he's brought a more attractive brand of football to the Britannia.
But with that same kind of solidarity, so it's not looking good for Fulham.
It looks as though it's similar to Crystal Palace in their adaptation from a different manager as well. So rounding up the scores from all around the grounds this afternoon. Starting off in the Premier League, the full-time result from the lunchtime kick-off. West Ham beat Tottenham 2-0. Aston Villa are beating Hull City 3-1. Manchester United, of course, losing 1-0 at home to Sunderland, whilst Newcastle United are 1-up against Cardiff. Stoke are 1-0 up against Fulham, and Swansea and Southampton are currently level at the Liberty Stadium.
And in the Championship, your scores are Barnsley, QPR 2-3 in favour of Barnsley. That's a full-time result. Another full-time result is Blackburn, Wigan 4-3, Blackpool 0, Charlton 3, Bolton 2, Birmingham 2, Ipswich 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Leeds and Derby finished 1-1, Leicester versus Doncaster finished 1-0 in favour to Leicester, Millwall 1-0 against Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest lost to Brighton 2-1, Reading 2-2 against Burnley, Watford losing 4-1 at home to Huddersfield, and then Yeovil losing 4-1 at home to Middlesbrough.
And moving down to League One, Brentford are at the half-time results, of course. Brentford 0, Stevenage 0, Crawley Town 1, Bristol City 0, Crewe Alexandra 1, Preston North End 0, Gillingham 0, Shrewsbury Town 0, of course already down Shrewsbury, Milton Keynes Dons 2-0, Leyton Orient 2, Oldham Athletic 0, Notts County 0, of course could still go down. Peterborough United have secured a playoff place, drawing 0-0 at home to Port Vale, whilst Sheffield United are losing at home 1-0 to Coventry. Rotherham United are 2-0 up against Swindon away from home, and Tranmere Rovers are winning 1-0 at home to Bradford City. Walsall 0, Colchester 0, and the champions Wolverhampton Wanderers are 2-0 up against Carlisle United. And League 2, Accrington Stanley are 2-0 up against A.F.C. Wimbledon. Bristol Rovers are 1-0 down to Mansfield Town. Cheltenham Town 2-2 against Dagenham Redbridge, looks like a great game there. Chesterfield are 1-0 down at home to Fleetwood Town. Hartlepool 2-0 down at home to Exeter. Morecambe 0, Bury 0, Newport are level with Rochdale 1-1, Northampton Town in deep danger 2-1 up against Oxford United. Portsmouth are 2-2 with Plymouth Argyle. Scunthorpe are 2-1 up, obviously promoted, 2-1 up against York City. Southend United are 1-0 up against Burton Albion, whilst Torquay United, already down of course, are 2-0 down at home to Wycombe Wanderers. And crossing over to Rugby Union, we have a half-time report from the London Wasps Newcastle Falcons game.
London Wasps 29, Newcastle Falcons 17, 6 tries in the first half already. Incredible entertainment in this, the penultimate weekend of the regular FIBA Premiership season. Remember, Newcastle though would confirm their status for this next season. They led 17-0 thanks to tries from Mike Blair and Joel Hodgson, the halfbacks. The back of come Wolves in brilliant fashion. They of course want to make next season's European Champions Cup. 2 tries from number 8 Nathan Hughes, another from back row forward Ashley Johnson, and a cracking score just before the break from from Joe Simpson after lovely work from Elliot Daly. It means the home team have come firing back in incredible fashion at half-time. It's 29, Newcastle 17.
Thanks to Russell Hargreaves for that report, and handing back to the lads in a second. Guiseley need to hold on to maintain their fight for the playoffs. 0-0 currently with North Ferriby, obviously 2-0 from the first leg. So
tepid first half, got to expect more fight from the North Ferriby team, of course, in the second half.
That will suit Guiseley down to the ground if it stays 0-0 and it's a boring match. So we'll hand you back to Chris Bell, and first Colin Robertson.
Thanks guys, and here we are back at North Ferriby, hoping that it can be as tepid as the first half, guys. I think you picked the exact word, really. Tepid in footballing terms, nerve-wracking in spectating terms. There's been very few chances on goal. Guys, they haven't really tested the goalkeeper at all. There were a couple of half chances for the home side, a header that went wide from Matty Wilson, but also a super not super, but a rather harum-scarum moment just before the break, when the ball down on the left-hand side went into the feet of no one, and eventually was hoisted clear. But as it stands, the Lions are level. As it stands, that means that they still have that 2-goal aggregate advantage as the Guiseley come back onto the field of play for the second half, just awaiting the home side. Chris, and what do you think for this second half? Can we continue just to effectively park the bus like we're seemingly doing at the moment?
Yeah, I think right at the moment Mark Bauer's a bit of a liar, isn't he? You know, he said to you that they're going to come out and look to win the game, and park the bus is almost what they've done. And usually you can't justify parking the bus generally. On this occasion, you very much can. You know, Ferriby have closed down very well. They've had a lot of the possession, but not a great deal of penetration. You know, we were saying at half-time whilst we were off air, you know, it depends on Ferriby whether they can keep closing down the way they have been doing. Because if they can't, if they get tired, there's a chance their 4 guys will then come out a bit maybe, and then try and sneak an away goal and put themselves. And at this stage, with just 45 minutes of his time to go, you'd think that would be tie over. Going to be an interesting second half, I think.
Interesting. Plenty of football left to go in this tie. The Lions back out on the field, as are North Ferriby. Guys, now playing from left to right as we sit in their stand here at North Ferriby, a recently refurbished £50,000 job here to get them ready if they are to be promoted, and in fact just to retain their position in the Conference North. But done very nicely. Guiseley immediately play the ball long down the left-hand side, looking for Adam Boyes to get onto the end of it in a running race with Gray. Gray wins that one, but Boyes earns Guiseley a throw-in.
Yeah, some good tracking forward and chasing play from Adam Boyes. Gets a throw-in for Guiseley. They seem to be getting 1 or 2 more yellow shirts forward for this one.
Throw goes into Rothery. Rothery collects it back. Once again, lofts it in towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Header from Brooksby. No direction on it. Ferriby can come away with the ball. Fry. And then Gray. And Guiseley to watch as the long one forward is cut out well by Danny Ellis. And Ollie Johnson chases this one as Paul Robson tries to keep it in, because it took a flick off the head of Mark Gray, and Guiseley have a throw again inside North Ferriby's half. A reasonable start this from the Lions.
I was just thinking the same thing, you know, this is good from Guiseley. You know, they're the ones that are now trying to press forward and harry.
Parker now on the ball, gives it square to Lawler. Across to the other side where Andy Holdsworth takes it on, tries to play the ball ahead of Clark and take it on the other side, but Clark is a wily enough character to block that one out. Guiseley win a throw.
That one must be on the railway line behind us.
Yes, I wouldn't fancy collecting that ball. The ball way over the stand here on this side. Another ball coming on field. Guiseley with a throw in, about level with a penalty spot on this right hand side. Andy Holdsworth, the captain, former Huddersfield man, ready to take this one. Takes it into the feet of Brooksby, the former North Ferriby player. Brooksby tries to get the cross, but is blocked well by Clark. Cleared by Pete up towards the halfway line. Jake Lawler gets on the end of it, and Ferriby concede a free kick with a handball.
Yep, again another chance for guys to get a couple of the big men forward. You can see Danny Ellis there making his way. He's bound to be the target for the set pieces. As I said in the build-up, he's got many goals, hasn't he, from set pieces. Danny Ellis just throws himself at it. He doesn't care if he gets hit on the way through.
He's up there with Jake Lawler, and Danny Hall, and Adam Boyes are in the edge of the 18-yard box. This one is a worse delivery from Brooksby. Hall does eventually get the head, but not really any threat on it, and in the end Anthony Wilson collects the ball but bundles Gavin Rothery to the ground, and it's another free kick to Guiseley. Ferriby haven't got out of their half actually so far after the break of any note. The Lions penning in Ferriby just like Ferriby were penning in the Lions in the first half.
Yeah, I think shove is the word I'd have used there rather than bundle. Definitely a firm shove from Anthony Wilson.
Free kick again. Parker on it inside the centre circle, lays it up towards the edge of the area where Danny Ellis knocks it back in field with the head, flicked on by Boschel. Nobody can get on the end of it. Danny Hall sends it into the penalty area. Ollie Johnson goes chasing, takes it down on the edge of the 6-yard box, back to goal. No way through at the moment for Johnson though. Robson shadows him really well, gets a good challenge in on him as he attempts the cross, and eventually it's out to the far side and cleared well by the Ferriby defenders. Picked up by Parker, but now Ferriby can counter-attack here with Delaria. Delaria's closed down well by Adam Boyes and forced back into their back line. They send it back to Nicklin. Nicklin sends it long, looking to get Anthony Wilson on his travels again. Wilson wins the head and wins the ball inside Guiseley's half, but plays it long from deep. Easy for Steve Dickinson to claim in the area. Just a sign of the direct football that Ferriby are looking to play again in the second half, yeah, like they did in the first.
Dickinson did well, didn't he? Made sure he got both hands on that when Jalan was running in.
Long clearance from Dickinson is returned. Danny Ellis takes it down. Great touch from Danny Ellis, a high ball in the air. Takes it down comfortably and then sends it long himself. This time Matty Wilson clears. Picked up now by Danny Boschel on the edge of the centre circle. Good header from Fry. Paul Robson threads it down the right hand side, looks to release Emerton. Emerton forward towards Wilson. Tackled well by Ben Parker and helped out into touch for a throw-in. Half-time in the playoff final was rather surprising scoreline. Ashton United, who just made it into that playoff final in the Northern Premier League, that's the one that decides who's coming into the Skrill North next season. They beat A.F.C. United, now leading Fylde. Ferriby get the ball into the area, and Anthony Wilson just had a second on the ball with some space and just launches it, and you probably could hear the groans around this stadium here because it was a promising moment, but really the finish and the cross were pretty poor.
So much power on that, wasn't there, from Wilson, and badly overhit. Now for a goal kick.
Still scoreless in the other semi-final, the second leg at Altrincham, 0-0. There's no away goals rule in this competition, so that one heading for extra time as it stands. And Guiseley now defending and watching as the ball comes forward up to the halfway line where there's a offside decision against Adam Boyes.
What's that? Offside 5-6 yards inside the opposition half there. I mean, look at where this free kick's been taken from, Colin. How can you be offside that close to the halfway line?
No, it is almost on the halfway line, isn't it? It's like 1990 Arsenal decision, this one. It's Nathan Peat who will take the free kick for Ferriby. Sends it long up towards Wilson, goes over Matty Wilson and Anthony Wilson, kept in well by Emerton, but in the end only to give the ball to the hands of Steve Dickinson, who can just take his time. 51 minutes gone here on BCB 106.6 FM and Guiseley Radio, Guiseley AFC Radio, via our YouTube account. Hopefully you're enjoying the commentary, because hopefully we're giving you some assurance that the results go in the right way as it stands, but there's certainly a nervy feel around this ground. The next goal is the cliche, it's going to be vital, and at the moment neither side have got it, but you do sense that the one that does will certainly feel the ascendancy in the tie overall. Robson now with a throw-in. for Ferriby. On the right-hand side, midway through the Guiseley half, Robson launches this one long, sends it in towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Wilson is up there. Anthony Wilson gets a header. Claims for a corner, rather strangely, because he was the clear winner of the header, and it's gone behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, not entirely convinced by his claims there, and neither was the referee. It definitely went straight out off his head. And again, Dickinson can just take his time now with the goal kick. Just eats away a few seconds. We played, what, 8 minutes of the second half.
So we have indeed 53 minutes gone. Guiseley 0-0 with Ferriby. Ball gone forward towards Ollie Johnson, but he's offside. It's another free kick. Just a quick reminder of the games in the Premier League today. West Ham United won 2-0 earlier on against Spurs. Villa are 3-1 up against Hull at the moment. Manchester United trailing by 1-0 at home to Sunderland. Newcastle winning 1-0 at Cardiff. Stoke have now gone 2-0 up against Fulham. Swansea 0, Southampton 0. And Bradford City are trailing at the moment 1-0 to Tranmere, but Tranmere reduced to 10 men. The ball now with Ferriby on this left-hand side. Clark trying to get past Holdsworth, right by the corner flag. Holdsworth and Boschel doubling up on Clark. In the end, Clark produces a little bit of trickery, but can't keep the ball in play, and it's gone behind for a goal kick.
Just to say that with the couple of early offside decisions that we've seen in these opening minutes of the second half, Colin, is that, you know, guys who've been looking to use that ball in behind again. You know, you look at where they are now, they're pushed back up a bit, only dropping back when the goal kick's taken.
Guiseley now won a free kick. Matty Wilson was tugging away at the shirt of Adam Boyce. There's a good chance this for Guiseley to get the set piece and some men forward.
Once again, Hall and Ellis making the way up to the edge of the 18-yard box, where again Ferriby trying to hold a high line to defend this free kick.
Wayne Brooksby it is, who will take. Brooksby has options on the edge of the 18-yard box. It's swung in towards the back post. Danny Ellis flicks it across. Jake Lawler! He was offside. Oh, in the end his header was rather unusual. It sort of bounced off his head and his shoulder. The flag was already up, but it was a sniff of a chance there for Guiseley, and it was only a half chance. But it just goes to show how cagey this game has been. Yeah, that was as near as any breaking the deadlock we've come this afternoon.
I was going to say, we've had to say that's probably Guiseley's best chance, without a doubt, and he was offside, so he wouldn't have counted anyway, but he certainly did seem to throw himself in a peculiar manner to get something on that.
Ollie Johnson under pressure inside his own half, has the ball at his feet, but tries to take on 3 players, can't. Jarman now picks the ball up for Ferriby, out on the right flank, 2 players around him. Jarman beats 1, gets the ball into the area, good cross, great lunging save there from Steve Dickinson, and then a late foot from Anthony Wilson in on Dickinson, and Dickinson's gone to ground. And to be fair, I think he was stretching for it, but there's a bit of concern. Danny Ellis and Andy Holdsworth have gone round. Stephen Dickinson holding his arm. Remember, he's the substitute goalkeeper. And the referee just speaking to Anthony Wilson while Martin Stringfellow comes on. Stephen Dickinson has taken off his glove, and that's not a good sign, is it, for the Lions?
It isn't at all. We're going to see a substitution already, though, which isn't to do with the goalkeeping situation. Ollie Johnson, the man that's coming off.
It is indeed, yeah.
Substitution for Guiseley for number 10.
Yeah, sorry, it's very confusing there for a moment. Yes, Alex Johnson is coming on. He'll be replacing Ollie Johnson, and I think that gives us something different. Ollie Johnson's so good on the ball. When he gets it, he can run at a player, he can beat 1 or 2 players with a bit of trickery, but he's not had the space to do anything like that this afternoon. Whereas Alex Johnson, he's a more combative forward, I think. He's willing to get in and amongst the defenders, you know, have a bit of a tussle and a battle with them, and I think that's more akin to what we need in this last 40 minutes or so.
Yeah, as you say, Ollie Johnson was trying to look for space to be able to run at people. He wasn't getting it. Good news for Dickinson as he's put his gloves back on and looks fine to continue now.
So free kick to Guiseley after Steve Dickinson's had his treatment. And 57 minutes into this second leg, the Guiseley and North Ferriby locked 0-0 on the day. but 2-0 still to the Lions on aggregate. Flicked on by Alex Johnson, up towards Alex Johnson from Jake Lawler rather. But he won the ball. Now a loose touch almost gives Wayne Brooksby a sniff of an opportunity, and a great clearance here. And Anthony Wilson bundles into Steve Dickinson. Steve Dickinson keeps the ball at his leg, collects the ball, and Steve Dickinson absolutely furious about the fact that Anthony Wilson just went through him once again.
There was no need for that there for me.
The ball cleared, upfield, up the other end, and then again there's an offside flag again against Alex Johnson. And it's a bit of a strange sort of atmosphere now at the moment. But Steve Dickinson and Anthony Wilson now having a bit of a battle here at the moment as they try to rattle Guiseley's cages. Steve Dickinson comes off his line again. Emerton chasing him down this time, not able to get on the end of that one.
You can certainly see he's not entirely comfortable, Dickinson, there, as he was rubbing at his arm.
Long one forward up here towards Adam Boyes. Boyes is beaten to it. No foul against Matty Wilson, although he claimed it. Referee didn't agree. Ball away now for Ferriby as they start to move down this right-hand side. Guys, you just need to retain their composure as they've been showing all this game. Don't get drawn into the battle. Robson here to Delaria. Delaria under pressure from Danny Boschel. Sends it back to the halfway line. Picked up by Mark Gray. Mark Gray looks his options ahead of him. Sends it up towards Jarman. Lays it into the feet of Anthony Wilson. And then out towards Emerton, but Emerton can't keep that in play. But anyway, he has won a throw. Danny Ellis has gone to ground. Hopefully it's not a return of that ankle injury he's had. A little bit of a limp, and now is a chance for a long throw here from North Ferriby. The long one taken, goes in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Good header there from Danny Ellis. Delaria on the ball, gets it out to the right-hand side. Robson again now for the home side. Just turning the screw a little bit here. Delaria sends it down the right-hand side, looking to release Fry. Fry keeps this one in, gets a good cross in on it. Gray with a header over the crossbar, and in the end, comfortably high and wide. But the movement and the build-up play, though, impressive from North Ferriby, and a real threat there for the Lions.
Yeah, some good build-up play from North Ferriby there, but that header was more in danger of rustling some cabbages in the allotments behind than rustling the back of the net.
You've been working on that line, haven't you, Chris? Is that the one you were rehearsing before we started? Still goalless in the other playoff. 0-0 between Altrincham and Hensford. 1-0 to Ashton. Ashton United at the moment taking a place in the Conference North, which at least one of these two sides will be playing next season. Wayne Brooksby now takes advantage of a slip from Pete. Brooksby towards the edge of the area, cuts in field, takes a shot from distance. It's there! Wayne Brooksby with the left boot hits the bottom right-hand corner, and the former Ferriby man comes back to haunt the side that he once played for, and it is now North Ferriby United 0, Guiseley 1.
Superb bit of play from Wayne Brooksby there. Nathan Pete lost control of the ball, slipped. Wayne Brooksby took full advantage of that. Great shot with his left foot, Wayne Brooksby. Bottom corner, 1-0 on the day, 3-0 to Guiseley on aggregate.
Oh my goodness. Well, that makes the task oh so much harder for North Ferriby. And
we've got half an hour to go, and they now need 3 to take it to extra time.
We can expect a response, I'm sure, from this North Ferriby side.
There's been a booking for, is that Brooksby that's been booked?
I think so. He went to celebrate, but of course he's at the ground he used to play with, and I think he did. Did he get booked there? I'm not quite sure. We'll just confirm.
I think he got booked.
The feeling is that he did get booked in celebrating that goal.
I think he did effectively just dive into the Guiseley supporters behind that goal.
There's a lot of football yet to be played. Half an hour yet to go. Stranger things certainly have happened in games. Robson now on the ball for the home side, on the halfway line, plays it into Fry. Fry to the right-hand side, a real urgency about Ferriby now. Emerton gets the ball into the edge of the area, headed away by Danny Boschel. Guys, he can't keep on to it, but do earn the throw, and that's the work that Alex Johnson will do. Wasn't giving up on Mark Gray, and Mark Gray in the end doesn't return the ball. Actually has to concede possession, and guys, he have a throw inside their own half.
Yeah, we just need to keep calm and composed now to Guiseley. They've got themselves a goal that, you know, as the game had been going, didn't look like they were going to get it. Chance here though.
Ball goes forward, and there was Alex Johnson chasing on the end of it, getting in between the defenders. Nickling quickly off the goal line to play the sweeper role and clear. Danny Boschel sends it back over. Alex Johnson playing off the shoulder. He's onside, I think, but he was unable to get it in the end. It's up to the halfway line. Now, Ferriby have to do something spectacular here. Clark might start something, though, going down this left-hand side. Boschel cuts out the ball at the run. Keeps it in play, but doesn't in the end, and concedes a throw. And this is dangerous, actually, because we've seen from the set pieces, the throw-ins that they've got, and
I expected Danny Boschel to do a bit better there, quite frankly. He did just take a little bit too long to let the ball roll into his path.
Throwing comes in from Pete. Up towards the edge of the 6-yard box, a free kick is given. Guiseley can relax. And,
yeah, the referee indicating there was a push in there on a Guiseley player as the throwing came in from Ferriby.
Huge thanks to all of those who've been tweeting us at Guiseley Radio. Philip Crimes, thank you. I said Shadow is a pseudonym and not an animal, so thanks very much for that. I hope I didn't offend you, Philip. But great to hear you tuning in, and Simon Shaw as well. Great commentary for the goals, really appreciate that, Simon. Let's hope we can bring you another one. And Phil Thompson too, get in. Absolutely right.
As we said, that goal, I was going to say that, guys in a position where they didn't necessarily need that goal, they just need to keep Ferriby out. And you did think, didn't you, really, that if...
Almost forcing Nicklin into a rather poor challenge. In the end, Anthony Wilson has just won a free kick for his side, inside Guiseley's half. About 10 yards from the edge of the centre circle, chance to get the big men up again.
Danny Hall a little bit clumsy there. Just straight into the back of Anthony Wilson, and, in this position to get a free kick there. He wasn't going to make any mistake, was it? Just going to go down.
Fry with the free kick, whips it in towards the edge of the area, headed up by Andy Holdsworth, chased on now by Wayne Brooksby, picked up here by Gray. Gray back for Ferriby, gives it to Delaria. Delaria square now into the feet of Fry. Fry whips the ball into the edge of the area. Danny Clark with the header on, cleared well by Holdsworth, up towards the halfway line. Nathan Peat up against Alex Johnson. Johnson not giving him a slip and a chance, and Johnson is pulled back by Nathan Peat. Peat is going to be going into the book here. Johnson was clear through after that, but no way would you say it was a goal-scoring chance, but certainly a yellow card for Nathan Peat.
Yeah, quite rightly as well. Referee just calling him over. Because, as you say, Alex Johnson, by the way, great play from him, because Nathan Peat was dawdling on the ball. He didn't know entirely what he was going to do. Alex Johnson just put the pressure on, got round him, had the ball, and forced Peat to pull him back and concede the free kick. And as we say, he's in the referee's book as well. Now he's Nathan Peat. He's not the greatest start to the second half, after looking relatively composed in the first half.
I tell you what, we've stolen a few yards here. The free kick was out by the touchline. The ball is in here about 10 yards in from the touchline on the right-hand side.
If something comes of this, we won't complain, but we've got, what, 23 to go?
Brooksby with the free kick, whips it in. Poor free kick in the end, cut out by Robson. Handball by Wilson. Anthony Wilson there. A cheap decision for him to concede. Taken quickly by Boschel, up towards Ellis. Ellis doesn't win the header that time against Matty Wilson. Good header from Matty Wilson. Guys who win the throw, but sharp thinking there from Danny Boschel. Almost finding a way through for Danny Ellis.
Yeah, the big man was still up from the free kick. That was a bit of a failure, really. So good thinking save from Bosch to get up towards Ellis. Throwing for guys on that far side now.
23 minutes of this second half played. Guiseley are 1-0 up here at North Ferriby. They'll take this throw in before they get picked up for a yellow. And in the end, the throw comes from Ben Parker into the feet of Adam Boys, and Guiseley win another throw, just slowing everything down. We have 23 minutes to go, and this time Parker's going to go long into the area. Looks to loft this one in. It's about level with the 6-yard box for the throw on the left-hand side. It bounces awkwardly up for Alex Johnson for a moment, but now a chance for a counter-attack here. Wilson comes forward. Boschel straight across him. Super tackle from Danny Boschel to deny Wilson the chance to go forward, and then a good tackle from Gavin Rothery on Emerton, and he wins the throw for Guiseley, and that was absolutely top stuff from the Lions.
Brilliant tackle there, wasn't it? First from Danny Boschel, the second one from Gavin Rothery. Outstanding challenge. Went to ground, got the ball.
Throw in from Parker in towards Alex Johnson. Johnson does well, gets the ball, gets the throw in once again. That level with the penalty area on that left-hand side, the penalty spot rather, on that left-hand side.
happy to keep him in that corner now, really, aren't we, it seems?
68 minutes gone, 1-0 to the lines, 3-0 on aggregate. The ball into the area now, and Alex Johnson looking for it. On the ball, Wayne Brooksby takes it off Paul Robson on the left touchline now. Plays it infield, good footwork from him to find Jake Lawler. Matty Wilson and Alex Johnson having a bit of a tussle on the edge of the area, nothing to do really. Johnson threw himself to the ground, and now Ferriby come away with the ball. Danny Clark here for Ferriby, infield now towards Fry. Guys, you have to defend a few minutes more really. In the end, Ferriby played up by Fry into the feet of Danny Ellis. Guys, he take over. Jake Lawler into the feet of Ben Parker. And since the goal, guys, have just looked far more comfortable in this game. The ball played down the left-hand side. Matty Wilson gets there ahead of Alex Johnson. It'll be another throw for the Lions.
Yeah, North Ferriby looking a little bit void of ideas perhaps now. After all that possession and all the pressing play there in the first half and the early stage of the second half, they'll be just a bit deflated really to have conceded the way they have after having all the pressure and possession. But from Guiseley's point of view, they're just working themselves forward, and they look the more likely really to get the next goal.
Ball up towards Anthony Wilson. Andy Holdsworth goes for the header, doesn't get there. In the end, the clearance from Ellis goes into touch, and it's a Ferriby throw. Still, if you're just joining us here on BCB 106.6 FM and on Guiseley AFC Radio, a joint broadcast this afternoon of this playoff semi-final second leg, where the Lions lead by 1-0 and lead 3-0 on aggregate with little more than 18 minutes to go. But Ferriby, formidable opponents this season, finished in comfortable second place and pushed for the title right to the very end, the last day of the season. They're still a side not to be discounted at any level in the game. Nod on now from Matty Wilson as Guiseley send it long up that final third, but comfortably returned to North Ferriby. Paul Robson comes up to the halfway line, looks to send this one long up towards the edge of the D. Danny Ellis won't get onto it. Anthony Wilson wins it. Big shout for handball. Must admit that did look like he might have taken it down the arm, but referee didn't pick that one this time. Wayne Brooksby does really well to battle back and win possession. Back out on that far side. Heavy challenge in by Robson, and Wayne Brooksby goes down. Paul Robson, I think, will be lucky not to get a speaking to or a card here. He was rather enthusiastic in the challenge. Not really surprising given the situation in the game.
He's been called over as the former Lincoln City defender. It was a heavy tackle on Wayne Brooksby.
They've had some fine results of North Ferriby this season. I'm sure they'll remember that scoreline at Lincoln City earlier on this season.
You had to bring that up, didn't you? Yes, 4-0 Ferriby beat Lincoln on that occasion. Cheers for that one, mate. I'm glad I'm not coming on with you on the way back to Yorkshire tonight.
You're glad. Free kick to Stephen Dickinson's Guiseley, and they send a long ball forward up here for Adam Boyce. North Ferriby now back in possession. Pete in left back sends it long up towards the head of Jarman. Jarman does win the header, but a bit of a fracas, but nothing really came of it, did it? 15 minutes to go. Still 1-0 to the Lions.
Is it still level in the other semi-final as well?
Yeah, it's was still 0-0. Yeah, Altrincham and Hensford 0-0. Fylde 0. Ashton United 1. 10 minutes to go in that game. Potentially Ashton United join the league. Place I always like going, actually, Ashton, to be fair. Won now by Wayne Brooksby on the left flank. He's just earned a free kick for Guiseley.
Mark Bauer out on the edge of his technical area there, barking out some orders, or maybe just having a quick word at the referee or the linesman on that far side.
With 14 minutes to go, Wayne Brooksby with a free kick. Guiseley leading by 1-0 on the day, 3-0 on aggregate. The big men still coming forward. Hall and Ellis from centre half. Brooksby plays this one over the bar in the end. It's a poor delivery, and the threat passes.
Just a little bit too much on that for anybody in a yellow shirt to get on the end of.
Free kick for Ferriby. Nicklin takes the goal kick rather up towards Wilson. Wilson takes it down with ease on his chest. so well in control of the ball. Back to Pete, up towards Jarman. Jarman up against Ellis. Ellis wins that one. Danny Boschel completes the headed clearance, helped on by Adam Boys up to the halfway line. Matt Wilson now, chased down by Alex Johnson. Then up here, and Wilson carved out a little bit of space for himself. As the ball sort of 30 yards from goal, now surrounded by Guiseley players, lays it back to Fry. Delaria. Ferriby can get one back here, might just ask a few questions in this last 13 minutes or so. So Guiseley have to remain tight. It's up to the halfway, up the edge of the 18-yard box. Danny Hall in a bit of a battle there, and then a slip from Danny Boschel, gives it to Clark. Clark some distance from goal, gets a shot away. Great first save from Dickinson. The rebound by Wilson. Easy for Steve Dickinson to collect at the second attempt. But the slip from Boschel gave the ball to Clark. Clark had a good shot with the left boot, but a great save, a firm right hand from Steve Dickinson.
Yeah, very good save from the Guiseley number 2 keeper. And he was aware of the danger as well as the follow-up shot / cross came in, and Dickinson again comfortable to deal with it. So far so good, 12 to go.
Paul Robson lays the ball forward now for North Ferriby as they look for a way back into this tie. Ferriby have the ball on the halfway line at the moment, not able to make the headway that they're really looking to do. The first real sniff of goal in the second half is well saved by Stephen Dickinson there. Now Gray sends it forward up towards Anthony Wilson. Wilson and Danny Ellis having an almighty battle for this playoff game, throughout this playoff game, and then a free kick's given against, I think it was Wayne Brooksby, and this is a chance now for Ferriby to have a dangerous set piece.
Yeah, they've had a great battle, haven't they, Wilson and Ellis, and Wilson's going to be making his way into the penalty area, and you expect Ellis to be the man watching him as this free kick comes in.
12 minutes to go. Ferriby with a free kick. They're trailing 1-0 on the day. The ball whipped in, headed away by Andy Holdsworth, and out for a throw-in on the far side. Stoke 3, Fulham 1 in the Premiership. Big scoreline in that relegation battle. Last we heard, of course, Sunderland were winning at Manchester United. Now the ball comes in on the right-hand side, and Ferriby are chasing for this one. Enough work from Ben Parker to clear. In for a throw-in once again to North Ferriby. Guys, you're just getting in camped with a little over 10 minutes to go.
That one's on top of the snack bar / toilet block on that far side. Needed a ladder for somebody to get up there.
Don't mix those two up. Ferriby now have the ball on the right flank. Paul Robson battling hard with Adam Boys. Won by Wayne Brooksby. Into the feet of Ben Parker. Parker sends it long up towards Alex Johnson, but it's cut out well this time by Gray. Ferriby have everybody in the Guiseley half at the moment except for the goalkeeper. They need to throw everything but the kitchen sink at it, to use a cliche. Clark gets a cross in. Stephen Dickinson has to tap it over the crossbar. It's a corner for North Ferriby on that left-hand side. It was a dangerous whipped-in ball there from Clark, and good awareness from Steve Dickinson to keep that one out.
Yeah, he wasn't taking his chances there, was he, the Guiseley goalkeeper? Good play from Danny Clark. Good ball in, and well dealt with by the keeper. The corner now for the home side.
It's almost last chance saloon as it is. Whipped in here from North Ferriby, up to the back post, headed away by Adam Boys of all people, and eventually cleared by Boys into touch for a throw-in for North Ferriby.
Doing his defensive duties, isn't he, the big striker? Making sure he's getting back and helping his side out.
Paul Robson gets the ball back in towards the penalty area, this time cut out by Ben Parker. Guys, he can counter-attack if there was anyone ahead of him. Nathan Jarman with a rather tame challenge on Ben Parker. It's a poor one really from a Ferriby perspective, because Ben Parker was going nowhere. Big goal in the Skrill North playoff semi-final. We're hearing Hensford have gone a goal up against Altrincham. Hensford Town 1-0 up. It could be a trip to Keys Park next Saturday. That is a big goal.
And there can't be, well, it's about the same as there is here to go, I imagine, over there at Altrincham. The attendance, by the way, 920.
Free kick taken. North Ferriby chase this one. Really good running here from Emerton. Emerton's through and goal, plays it in towards Wilson. Wilson's onside. A great blocking save from Stephen Dickinson's feet. It looked certain that Anthony Wilson would score after Emerton played him in well. Wilson did all the right things. He played the finish, but Dickinson's feet got in the way and somehow kept it out of the goal.
Superb goalkeeping there from Dickinson as we get to the first substitution for North Ferriby. Robson that's going off, and Dean Lyles.
Dean Lyles, can he play part in a remarkable North Ferriby comeback? The former Guiseley man's coming up straight from the corner. The ball whipped in this time, hits the head of Gray, goes over the bar and behind for a goal kick. And really, by all rights, Ferriby should have been level there, up to the halfway line, headed up in the air, and a throw in for the Lions inside their own half. You're listening to BCB 106.6 and Guiseley AFC Radio. Joint broadcast, and at the moment we're bringing you good news because the Lions lead 1-0 on the day and 3-0 on aggregate, and we've got little more than 6 minutes plus stoppages to go. Guiseley hopefully can see this one through and book their place in the playoff final, the first time since we travelled all that way down to Telford, and we're heartbroken after coming so close on that day.
2-1 up with 11 minutes to go, wasn't it, on that occasion? And then only to lose 3-2.
Only ever won one playoff game before this particular one. If we win both of these, it'd be a doubling of our record of 3 years in one. It's Ben Parker with a throw in at the moment. It's kind of flat, isn't it, the game at the moment? But that's exactly how we want it. Surely Alex Johnson's going to get a free kick. Somehow he's conceded one against Matty Wilson. Johnson's furious and is going to get spoken to by the referee here.
Another substitution for Guiseley. Number 8, Danny Boschel. It's his number that's up.
Do you know, I think if he does come on, I think that says that Mark Bauer thinks the game's wrapped up, but at the moment he doesn't want to take it, make the substitute till this free kick happens and sees what happens here. The ball's up, in towards the penalty area, everyone up there, great header again from Danny Ellis, up as far as Delaria up in the air, and in the end there's a stoppage to play, because I think it was Mark Gray who went up for that header with Danny Ellis, who's taken some sort of knock. I think he looks winded, to be fair. And on comes the physio to help him out.
And now we will see that substitution. Number 8, Danny Boschel, going off. Is that 16?
Michael Potts.
Or 15?
Michael Potts, who scored a vital goal just to see off Gloucester City in the final game of the season. A player who's impressed me every time he comes on full of energy and has certainly made a sort of cameo role his own this season. And, you know, he's got quality, as Mark Bauer said, to start this game. Start week in, week out. More credit there to Nathan Jarman. He's just given the ball back to Stephen Dickinson after Mark Gray was the man who was taken off, and whether Stephen Dickinson's returning the favour, he's hit touch anyway, and it's going to be a throw. 4 minutes left of normal time here. Nathan Peat with a throw in left back position, sends it up to the halfway line. Jake Lawler into the feet of Delaria. Delaria sends it long, Jarman chasing. Danny Hall hits that one high into the stand, and I expect it'll bounce off the top of the stand, high up into the air clearance.
I think that's bounced about 4 or 5 times on the roof of the stand.
It's still bouncing, you can hear it now. And it's gone behind, so North Ferriby quickly return the ball. Perhaps there is a last glimmer of hope if they could get something here. The throwing comes in short to Delaria. Delaria turns. Delaria under pressure from Potts. Gives the ball across field here to Dean Lyles. Lyles has a little run forward, threads the ball through to Wilson. Wilson spins in the box, almost gets a shot away, gets the ball back, has a shot that's blocked, and eventually hoiked away by Guiseley out into touch.
That's great play from Andy Holdsworth, is that. He got round the back of that melee and was there to sweep up. Good play from the Guiseley captain.
Everything coming forward now as North Ferriby throw their last throws of this playoff semi-final, last efforts to get back, get a foothold back into this game. Snapshot from the edge of the area, and that came from Everton. Frustration, Jarman rather, and frustration for him. And Guiseley going to make a third substitution.
Substitution for Guiseley.
It's Wayne Brooksby who'll come off, and Rhys Maynell who will make way for him. And that's, I think, a move to try and get the Lions into a bit of a defensive shape. Just make them a little bit more defensive, perhaps change the formation just to hold on to this lead. Big goal again in the other semi-final. That one's not finished yet. Altrincham 1, Hensford 1. So that one looks like it's heading to extra time. Newcastle 2, Cardiff 0 as well in the Premiership. But Altrincham 1, Hensford 1.
Wherever it is, we'll be there next week.
sure I can take another 90 minutes of this. And the goal scorer. And now I'm hearing that Hensford at Altrincham have gone 2-1 up. And Altrincham have taken a second in that game, so Altrincham are 2-1 up, we're hearing. So there was a moment we were heading to Keys Park and it looks more like we're going to Moss Lane and play the Robins there as it stands. Guiseley lead 3-0 on aggregate here, 1-0 on the day. Danny Clark with a chance to recover some pride. Andy Holdsworth is penalised for a handball as he blocked that cross. 1 minute and 15 seconds of normal time to go. And Guiseley will want to keep this clean sheet from the point of view of pride and not to give Ferriby much of a momentum into the injury time. Fry with a free kick, whips this one, it's a good one. He finds Matty Wilson, he takes a shot from the edge of the 6-yard box. He had to spin, the ball was behind him, and then when he made contact with the ball, he couldn't keep it down, it went over. But good work actually there from Matty Wilson, a good cross there from Russell Fry.
Yeah, it was a difficult one for Matty Wilson to take. He was on the swivel, tried to take it first time, just didn't get the accuracy with the connection.
Suspect there'll be 4 minutes of added time. The ball hasn't come up, but we can see it clear as day from here on the ground.
Propped up at up against the ad ball on far side in.
So there will be another 4 minutes.
Although
the referee's just going to have a word with the fourth official actually, maybe to change that. Ball up towards Adam Boys from Dickinson, but it's coming back every time now as Ferriby just look to get something back into this game. Anthony Wilson runs past Danny Ellis, goes into the area, good watching and defending from Ben Parker. Out now to Russell Fry. Potts with a block. Back here for Fry to get it back in again. Fry does, gets onto the edge of the 6-yard box. Ellis gets it away from Emerton and then into Potts. Potts now is bundled over by Emerton, or rather tackled by Emerton, and is tackled fairly. And now a chance here for Ferriby to get it into the area, but poor decision taken there by Russell Fry. He's right in the goal line to collect the ball back, and clearly an offside decision was going to be the outcome of that, and Guiseley have a free kick and a chance for a breather.
Into that 4 minutes, which was confirmed by time now. As we move into it, and as it is, barring an absolute miracle from North Ferriby, the Lions look to have booked their place in a final.
I know.
For the second time, and as it is, it looks like, as you said, a trip to Altrincham.
Do you know, they have to score a goal a minute, and I'm still not counting my chickens. Ridiculous.
Guys, football does to you, though,
it does, doesn't it? It does, it does. Bradford have come from a goal down to lead 2-1 against Tranmere this afternoon, so good news for Phil Parkinson's men. Tranmere 1, Bradford City 2.
I think that'll see Tranmere down as well, because they were in the bottom 4 going into today's game. Needed to get all 3 points to ensure survival. So it looks like City have buried Tranmere Rovers.
Goals late, goals going in around different games. Altrincham, of course, 2-1 up still against Hensford. Cardiff are now trailing by 3-0 to Newcastle.
We'll expect that that's them down as well.
Southampton lead Swansea 1-0. At the moment, the ball's just going in and out of play on the halfway line on that far side. And it's almost used up 2 minutes of the extra 4. Forward to Wilson. Ferriby not giving anything up at the moment. Long ball forward here. Alex Johnson chases with Nicklin. The goalkeeper gets there after the centre half. Johnson can wrap it up now. He's only got one on the line to beat, and he takes an amazing deflection off Matty Wilson on the line and bounces the ball off the crossbar, and Alex Johnson could have wrapped it up with the easiest looking chance. It won't matter in the scheme of things, but Alex Johnson will be frustrated. He did all the hard work though. And now Ferriby come down the other end. Wilson into the feet here of Clark. Clark whips it into the area. Wilson collects. Wilson goes past Ellis, gets a shot away over the bar and behind. But Alex Johnson still staring at the sky, frustrated with himself. But somehow Matty Wilson, who slaps hands with Alex Johnson there, kept that one out.
Would be the former Guiseley man to deny Guiseley that second goal, wouldn't it? As you say, just it looked easier to score than miss, quite frankly. Good defending from Matty Wilson, has to be said though.
And up goes Alex Johnson looking for this one. Matty Wilson wins the header. Potts leaps high in the air to try and win one. Ball down here with Guiseley now in possession, and Andy Holdsworth sends it down the right channel for Alex Johnson to chase. Goes out into touch, and it's a throw-in for Ferriby in left-back position. 3 minutes of the 4 are up. The last minute of this game, plus whatever the referee might feel like adding. Ferriby have a throw after Potts knocks it out once again inside their own half, up to the halfway line. Andy Holdsworth wins the touch, but bounces kindly for Jarman. Jarman with a good ball to the right-hand side, and Emerton chases this. Emerton right by the right touchline. He's got 3 to aim for in the area. Gets a good delivery in there. A header on by Anthony Wilson. Can't direct it on target though, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, another
just waffle on for a minute because we need the full times.
For Anthony Wilson there. Again, just couldn't quite get the right direction on it, could it?
It's so close to being full time here. 10 seconds of the added 4 left. The Lions 3-0 up, and the referee blows the whistle, and a huge cheer goes up from the visiting fans, and some of them are coming onto the field to celebrate. And what a result! It was Wayne Brooksby who scored the goal in the second half that settled the tie on the day. A super strike from the edge of the area. It meant that Guiseley have rattled up a 3-0 victory over North Ferriby, who were runners-up in this division, and will now, by all accounts, face a game against Altrincham next Saturday to decide who goes up to the Conference Premier. But what an afternoon it's been for the Lions. Here, North Ferriby United 0, Guiseley 1.
Well done, Guiseley. You know, we looked at this before the 2 games took place and thought, you know, guys who have to play well. Didn't expect it to be quite as wide a margin, and honestly, you know, Guiseley have done so well to not just win both games, but to keep 2 clean sheets as well. They've been solid at the back, good going forward. Well done to Mark Barry and his side. We'll see you in what we expect is Altrincham next Saturday.
Well, I have to say, you look at the fans, and look what that means to all the Lions fans who have been following the club up and down the country. Many of them follow just week in, week out, up and down, and this playoff hoodoo has been a real barrier in recent years. And it's not just been the fact that we've got beaten in the playoffs, it's been the way we've got beaten in previous years. But today, Guiseley showed resilience, they showed resolve, they showed the ability to create goals, and this feels like something that they've got off their back now. This feels like a fantastic thing, and Guiseley are there. We're through to the playoff final, and we'll just see what the final score is of the Altrincham game as soon as we can get confirmation of that. But at the moment, it was Altrincham were leading 2-1, and that has a whole range of stories in its own right. That one's still into stoppage time, with Altrincham leading 2-1. Can it be Guiseley's year?
That's a massive question. We've thought that for the last 3, haven't we, really? But maybe, just maybe, it could be. You know, we've played so well over these 2 games. You know, Altrincham are going to be a different test altogether, though we know how good they are going forward, the players that they've got, if it stays the way it is at Moss Lane at the moment. But maybe, this could be it, you know, 4th time lucky. We certainly hope so.
Such a lot of heartache in recent years, and it's been delightful to be able to bring you this with you. We've got some tweets that have been coming on. Chris, you just run through and thank all those who've been interacting with us.
Yeah, again, Craig, the Bradford Blades, been in touch. Awesome guys, who do it for West Yorkshire. The Blades are with you as well. And Susie Bell's been back in touch. Congratulations, Guiseley. Great to keep the clean sheets. Keep it going. There's still a group of young Guiseley supporters. They've got, it looks like bottles of water that they're shaking like the champagne cups, that they'll hopefully be popping next Saturday. But you know, it's a big ask, of course, going to Moss Lane. It's going to be a hostile atmosphere. There'll be a great following from Guiseley going down to Moss Lane, of course, and you know, it's going to be a great spectacle. 2 good footballing sides going head to head at Moss Lane. But for today, it's been a great performance from the Lions, from Mark Bauer's side, defending brilliantly. You know, tactically, spot on. Got the game to 0-0 at half-time. You know, soaked up all that pressure from North Ferriby. Did the same in the early stages, and a little bit of luck perhaps from Guiseley's perspective with the goal. You know, Nathan Peat just miscontrols it, slips over, and that allows Wayne Brooksby, and of course, you know, of all people, It had to be, didn't it? Wayne Brooksby, of all people, to get the goal against his former side that has confirmed and guaranteed Guiseley's place in the Conference North playoff final, Colin.
Yeah,
do you like the sound of that?
Yeah,
Guiseley in the Conference North playoff final.
I don't know. I'm already worried about Altrincham next week after the Telford experience a couple of years ago, but absolutely superb. Just a couple of things before we go. Thanks to Sue Stocks and Phil Thompson. Well done for excellent coverage, Guiseley Radio. Could be emotional next Saturday versus James Walshaw. That's for sure, isn't it? Let's hope he has one of those stinking misses that he did when he was playing for us against Halifax. And then finally, Sue Stocks, thanks very much. Thanks for the commentary. Great result. One more.